Stories of the 1984 NFL season. Young Jeff Kemp, the son of a congressman and former AFL star, was pressed into service by an injury to Vince Ferragamo, and he has responded with stunning success. Last week against New Orleans, Kemp again displayed amazing cool and athletic ability as he fired this pass to Drew Hill. It was one of 3 touchdown passes on a day Kemp won his 3rd game in 4 starts. The Rams' opponent tonight, the Atlanta Falcons, have their own star running back, Gerald Riggs, who is ably filled in for an injured William Andrews. But for Atlanta, the offense is all focused on their veteran quarterback, Steve Bartkowski. Last year's NFL passing champion at times is awesomely accurate. He has a strong arm for the deep patterns, the touch for the short, and a receiver, Stacey Bailey. He has one of the NFL's best-kept secrets. Bailey, averaging nearly 20 yards of reception, can score from any place on the field. Tonight, live from Atlanta, a key matchup in the NFC's Western Division, the Los Angeles Rams and the Atlanta Falcons. Angeles Rams and the Atlanta Falcons. And both of these teams will be trying to stay close to the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers off to a 7-1 start. The Rams, if they can win tonight, will pull within 2 games, and they also will have the 49ers coming up 2 more times. They meet them next week. And there is Steve Bartkowski. He runs things for Atlanta. Last night, suffering from back spasms. They are very concerned. As you can see, he is wearing a flak vest, and we are about to get underway. Not a sellout crowd, but it will be a crowd of over 50,000. Mike Lansford of the Rams will kick off. A speedster, Rodney Tate, is deep with Kenny Johnson, and Johnson will bring it back. And Johnson out over the 25 to the 27-yard line for the Atlanta Falcons. And Bartkowski, last year's passing champion, comes out. He, on the year, is passing just under 67%. Uncharacteristically, he has 8 interceptions. Last year, in 430-some attempts, he only had 5. There is his offensive line. Very strong over the left side with Pro Bowlers Tillman and Kinn. They, of course, are missing William Andrews, lost prior to the start of the season, but they have a good backup in Gerald Riggs. He, too, however, has been troubled with a sore ankle. He'll be in there as long as he can go tonight. Bartkowski, 1st and 10. Goes to the tight end, Arthur Cox. And Cox out over the 30-yard line to the 33-yard line for a gain of 8. It'll be 2nd down and 2. Defensively, 2 super linebackers for the Los Angeles Rams having great seasons, Collins and Andrews. Jack Youngblood rolling along. The fine defensive left end. There will be some movement in that secondary. Nolan Cromwell has been alternating between free safety and strong safety. That because of an injury, of course, early on to Johnny Johnson, who was activated and is available tonight for defensive work. Eric Harris, the strong safety, missed last week's game with an ankle. This is Riggs, and Riggs struggling up close to 1st down yardage, out over the 35 to the 37. And OJ, when you have a Darrell Riggs, you have a great running back, this 1st-round pick from a couple of years ago at Arizona State, but you have to miss a William Andrews. He was a complete football player.
Yeah, William Andrews, he's done it so long for this team that the line have a lot of faith in him, and I think this team misses him most when they get near the goal line and it's time to dig in there and get the ball in. They've been moving the ball real well from the 20 to the 20, but they've been having a lot of trouble getting it in the end zone.
Riggs gets the 1st down. Another factor that is lost with the loss of William Andrews as we look at Dan Henning in his 2nd season here after having come from the Washington Redskins is the fact that William Andrews caught 59 passes a year ago. He was a good receiver out of the backfield, but complete ball player.
I think our audience should keep an eye on number 87. Watch him when he goes into motion more than any other tight end or H-back in the league. He'll trap a down lineman, and he does it an awful lot, and it's pretty effective. He trapped the end on that play.
And Riggs, right side, and Riggs again with a big opening. That's Cliff Benson, the rookie from Purdue, that is the motion man that OJ was speaking of. He makes a good block, and Riggs, who can blow it off the line of scrimmage with just about the very best, found the opening. He got good yardage. Give him 7. Out to the 43, where it'll be 2nd down and 3. And you know about back spasms, Don. You've had every injury in this game. How does it affect a quarterback?
Well, it's a big arg.
I understand.
Yeah. Can you believe that Cliff Benson is 234 pounds as a wide receiver?
He can block.
And
boy,
he gets
can block.
fast.
That is Thompson in motion
again.
once again. And this time Riggs is met solidly by the left side of that line. There is John Robinson. John Robinson also in his second year after 7 great seasons at USC, won a national championship. They went to bowl games 4 times. They won all 4 times there. And he's a personable man. He'll have some fun with you. He'll talk it over with you.
He may try to fun you a little bit every now and then, too. He may not tell you always exactly the truth. He comes around it every now and then.
Have you known one that would? It's third down and passing yardage for Atlanta. Almost 4 yards. Cox is in motion. Bartkowski has the protection, trying to get it to Jackson. And off the fingertips, and a flag is down. Defending was Leroy Irvin.
I think Leroy just thought he was beat. Actually, the ball was overthrown. I don't think he would have caught it anyway, but
here's Jerry Markwright.
Interference, number 47, defense, first down.
So Jackson working against Leroy Irvin. You're exactly right, Don. I think that he could have probably let this one go without the interference, but he thought he was going to give up 6.
yeah, he saw him reach that ball.
I disagree. I think if Leroy wouldn't have interfered with him, he would have caught it. I don't know if he would have gotten into the end zone, but he certainly kept him from catching it.
The first down is at the 32-yard line. Riggs slips back inside, runs into Carl Eckhorn, but he makes good yardage inside the 30-yard line.
Talking about Andrews not being here. Riggs has been hurt for a couple of he hasn't played in a couple of weeks either. Just took a good look at it from another side. See Leroy, number 47. He's got his arm, and he just pulled that arm down. So he did a good job of interfering, whether he could have caught it or not.
I would hate to be a down lineman for the Rams with trying to worry about the guy in front of you or back coming to block you. You see that motion man coming from an angle hitting you.
Great look from the reverse angle. You wouldn't have seen it from the other side as we watch Riggs once again. He'll be held short of the first down. A moment ago, we picked up 6 yards. But coming into tonight, Gerald Riggs, who had missed the game, he missed the Ram game a couple of weeks ago when Atlanta won for the first time over these Rams out in California. But he came into tonight with 682 yards. Big, strong youngster, first-round draft pick in '82, led the Pac-10 as a senior. And again, if you're missing one thing, it's probably the blocking capabilities of William Andrews, who, as I said before, was a complete football player, and the fact that he was a good receiver for Bartkowski out of the backfield. The ball is inside the 25, third down and 3. Bartkowski. The blitz is on. Single coverage downfield, and Bartkowski had a man that he could have hit, Stacey Bailey, who is really an explosive wide receiver. He does not, however, do so, and we'll see Mick Luckhurst come on for the field goal attempt on 4th down. Luckhurst having a good year. He's 9 of 10. He's hit from 52 yards out. And he was the man who provided a 37-yard field goal in the closing seconds 2 weeks ago to defeat these Rams. Nice young man. He is donating his own funds to the Diabetes Foundation here in Georgia and soliciting other fans to do so with him. This will be a 42-yard attempt. Mike Morosky, the backup quarterback to Bartkowski, will place it down. And Luckhurst just off to the left. So the Rams dodge a 3-point bullet in the early going. The first possession of the Atlanta Falcons. We'll be back in a moment. The 3 and 4 Atlanta Falcons against the Los Angeles Rams. 4 and 3, both of them pursuing San Francisco Western Division of the NFC. The Rams first offensive possession. Young Jeff Kemp in his 4th year out of Dartmouth, but he inherited the assignment 4 weeks ago from Vince Ferragamo. 1st and 10, he's back early. And he goes to David Hill, and Jeff Kemp is good on his first completion. And he has been a stunning success. At the opening of the year, we talked to John Robinson, and he was very high on Ferragamo. We asked him about Jeff Kemp, and he said, well, he's a good, strong youngster we want to have around. He never suspected that this young man coming into tonight will be doing the kind of heroics that he has over the past 4 games. He's won 3 of 4. Very interesting young man and very athletic. He's very strong. He'll do things out there that most quarterbacks won't do. He'll give you the run. He'll give you the juke. And he has avoided the interceptions. He has now thrown 82 passes without an interception. That's remarkable for a youngster like Jeff Kemp. On 1st down. And that time, Kemp read the zone and knew that he had to get rid of it. did not have time to look for a checkoff. And there is a man I spoke of a moment ago, Jack Youngblood, in his 14th year. This is one that comes to play every game, every play. And his all-pro credentials over the many years, 7 Pro Bowls, certainly bears that out. We're looking at the defensive unit of the Atlanta Falcons. They lack one thing that is almost imperative now in pro football, and that is the pass rush. Ended tonight with 14 sacks through 7 games. That won't get it. 3rd down and 2. Goodman, number 44, is the U-back, as they like to call him at the Rams. David Hill will also move in motion, and this is the man, Eric Dickerson. He does it so well, so effortlessly. The man who led the National Football League a year ago as a rookie. He did it with incredible stats, 1,808 yards at an NFL record of 390 attempts. That'll tell you something about durability, and he happens to be a pony, Don.
Yeah, he does. You know, Jim Brown has a comment on Eric Dickerson that I found very interesting. He says he's the prettiest runner in the game. And he is pretty, isn't he?
Oh, he's stylish. You saw him on that run. He get those knees up high, and when he decides to turn up, it doesn't take too long.
Bobby Butler, the left cornerback, limped off for Atlanta. 1st down and 10. Ball at the Rams, 44-yard line. Jeff Kemp back again on the 1st down. Fires a shot in there to Ellard that was right on target. Ellard did not have possession. The Falcons are saying that he had possession and coughed it up. That was not the case. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Well thrown ball, but I don't understand how a receiver ever catches a ball like this, O.J. He's coming into the inside. He's going to get hit. Henry Ellard, he's the...
Well, we talk about courage.
Now watch
he
this.
realizes that safety is there. There's Pridemore.
You got to get Pridemore. That's Pridemore. Jeff gets a little sack this time, too, doesn't he? He gets it off.
Beautiful pass, right on the money, but
Sure.
bingo.
2nd down and 10. Dickerson, left side. And with great speed and almost again the effortless move to the outside. You just don't really calculate the speed that this big man has. He's 220 pounds, and tempers erupt over there in front of the Rams bench.
I think Eric thought Tom Pridemore got there a little bit too late.
Well, there was a lot of talk in L.A. this week about the tempers were flaring there because Dwayne Crutchfield was complaining that these guys took some unnecessary shots at Eric last week.
Yeah.
I mean, the last 2 weeks ago when they played, and there was a lot of talk about getting even this week, and they're not going to let these guys get away with anything.
3rd down. Not a sellout, but a very noisy crowd tonight. Dickerson, he's as good as a pass. He gets the 1st down. He moves inside the 45-yard line of Atlanta.
Was that graphic correct? They had 12% in achieving a 3rd down and 5 that we saw there. That's almost unbelievable.
I didn't see it.
That was a little quick graphic up there that Rams have averaged pulling off that 3rd and 5 only 12% of the time.
It's been a wild series. It goes back to 1967. The Rams have won 26. The Falcons have won 6. They've tied 2. And up until 2 weeks ago, Atlanta had never won in California. And they have had some brutal games with many times the division titles that the Rams sort of dominated through the 70s on the line. Barry Redden comes in now for Eric Dickerson. Kemp is back. Looking deep. Otis Grant was the intended receiver, and a flag is down at the 2-yard line. Bobby Butler sprinting there with Otis Grant. Otis Grant, the only receiver over 6 feet on this Ram team. They've got some short ones out there. Drew Hill at 5'9", Ellard at 5'11". Here's Mark Wright. It's going to work against the Rams. And let's take a look at Otis Grant. Number 23 is Bobby Butler.
Well,
Ran
Bobby
right up his
Butler,
back.
well, Bobby definitely had the position on the field. He didn't impede anything.
Well,
Would you say
he did not impede that, huh?
his progress to the ball.
I think it was the hands you saw on the back that were picked up as interference. Had Otis Grant played the ball all the way, he probably would not have had the call, but he put the hands on the back of Bobby Butler. Thus the penalty, and the Rams are backed up. 1st down, 1st and 20. Jeff Kemp Looks over the line of scrimmage. Last week his best outing thus far in the 4 starts. 8 of 19, 142 yards, but he had 3 touchdowns. Blitz is on. Dickerson out to the left. That's dangerous.
They've already thrown a flag.
Flag is down as Dickerson gets inside the 40-yard line of the Atlanta Falcons before he's pursued by Buddy Curry and Ken Johnson, and the crowd loves the preliminary indication by Jerry Markwright that the penalty will work against the Rams.
Well, but the call says something about this man. When you got a guy in the backfield like Eric, it could be 1st and 30. The defense still cannot relax. You know, they can't just play the pass because this guy can break it off. He can score from anywhere.
As I said earlier, he's like a pass. I'd like to point out quickly, Jackie Slater, of course, is missing from the Rams offense. Knee surgery. He'll be out for the rest of the season. Of course, he was a great all-pro tackle at the right side. So what the Rams have done, they have replaced him with Irv Pankey. They have put Pankey, who was just called for that penalty, over in the left side. They moved the veteran Bill Bain over to the right side, and it may affect some of the running skills, but Pankey has played on that left side many times before. As a matter of fact, started there for the Rams, so they don't lose much. First down, and there's a whole bundle, and they give it to Dickerson. He's taken by John Rady, and there was coaching news in the NFL, as you might suspect, at midseason. Here's Jim Lampley.
All right, thanks, Frank. One significant piece of news of which our viewers may not be completely aware. Sam Rutigliano, the former head coach of the Cleveland Browns, now former head coach, as the graphic says, because Art Modell, describing Rutigliano as his good friend, relieved him this morning, replaced him with defensive coordinator Marty Schottenheimer, who will hold the job through the rest of the season. The Browns, of course, 1-7, didn't score a touchdown in yesterday's loss to the Bengals.
Gift, second down and 25. Rams at their own 43-yard line, and Kemp is back again. Gets it to Hill, the tight end, and Hill is covered instantly there right in front of the Falcon bench. That will bring up 3rd and still a lot of yardage. David Hill, who had great years up at Detroit, a 2-time Pro Bowler up there. They may be a little bigger than he was when he worked up at Detroit, but he was big then and very effective. Rams got him a year ago. And, of course, then they lost Mike Barber, their fine tight end, with a knee injury. He has been filling in. 3rd down and 21 for Jeff Kemp. They make things quite simple for Kemp. They've taken away the shotgun. They don't use that. Very simple game plan. Kemp obviously got the wrong break from one of his outside receivers, Ron Brown. He threw to the sidelines. The Olympic sprinter, gold medalist in the 4x100 that just frightens everything out of cornerbacks. Made the wrong move, but he was something, wasn't he, O.J., out there? Ron Brown?
You bet.
Did a super job on our relay team. Got him a gold medal, and he's doing a super job for the Rams.
4th in the 100 meters. That'll frighten a few defensive backs. John Miss goes in to punt for the Rams. Willie Curran is back. Oh, how they'd like to have Billy Johnson back there. He was hurt 2 weeks ago in the Ram game, gone for the season. Curran, he does not call for the fair catch, and he is buried.
He sure
Back
should have.
at the 7-yard line, waiting for him to take that ball was Ivory Sully, who makes a lot of big plays on the special team for the Rams. We'll be back. Second possession for Atlanta in a moment. Gerald Riggs, single setback. The big one from Arizona State. Now in his 3rd year, and here he comes. He'll break some tackles for you. That's Riggs out close to the 10. Gain of 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. And I want to remind you, tomorrow night, an exciting new series, Paper Dolls. Watch as the saga heats up with Lloyd Bridges, Brenda Vaccaro, and Morgan Fairchild. Not a bad grouping. Paper Dolls tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock Central, and Mountain Time right here on ABC. We had that a little convoluted. That's 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 o'clock Central and Mountain Time. Paper Dolls. 2nd down and 7, Atlanta. Jackson in motion. Bartkowski, a lot of time, good protection, and nothing going on. He doesn't like to do this, and he's playing with, as I mentioned before, severe back spasms from last night.
He had a bump in with Big Jim Collins right there. That's one guy you don't want to mess with. He's really been having a good year. Jim Collins at linebacker.
Bartkowski gets about 3. It'll bring up 3rd down and 3. And Bartkowski is quite an interesting story. They got him back in 1975, first-round draft pick, and they thought they had one of the most fragile things around. He was in and out of the lineup with all sorts of injuries for several years, but all of a sudden, he settled down and has really become one of the durable quarterbacks around. He has started 65 of the last 67 games Atlanta has played. And I'll tell you, when he gets on a roll, there's no one that can be hotter. 3rd and 3, firing to Floyd Hodge, and Hodge out over the 20-yard line for an Atlanta first down. Collins, whom Don mentioned a moment ago as having a superb year for the Rams, was there defensively.
I love the quotes. You always hear the coaches, coming about the guy. Here's one. I tell you, he's become a really good player. Talking about Jim Collins. He's got good instincts, and that's why he makes so many tackles. Now, if you don't have good instincts, you don't make too many tackles.
All the cliches that have grown up in this game. They're wonderful. We'll make a book out of them someday. At the 21-yard line, Atlanta first down and 10. Benson in motion. Riggs works the middle. And they work back. Held to about a yard pickup. Falcons, as I mentioned, have never beaten the Rams twice in the same season. Rather obvious because it was only 2 weeks ago that they beat them for the first time in California. Of course, they play home and home. They have since 1967. But if they can win tonight, it'll be a first for them. And there he is.
You can tell
Eric, without his glasses, rarely do you see him on the football field or even on the sideline without those goggles.
You can tell he's got a good education. You know what I mean?
2nd down and long. Benson again motions. Again, good pass protection and one-on-one coverage is Bailey against Irvin. And Bailey is going to win that with the accuracy of a passer like Bartkowski. A 13-yard pickup, first down Atlanta.
Notice how everybody picked up all of those guys that were blitzing. They threw a couple of linebackers in this time. Let's take a look at it from Bartkowski's point of view. Comes back. See a lot of action over there. But there he had plenty of time. He throws one of the prettiest balls, too. Talking about pretty runners, there's a pretty passer. That ball has a really tight spiral, and I think that has a lot to do with why he doesn't have too many interceptions. He very seldom gets the floater out there.
I tell you what he really throws, maybe as well as anybody who's ever played this game, that up pattern. He throws that beat bomb as well as anybody who's ever played.
Remember those shots to Alfred Jenkins?
Yeah.
Over the years? He makes it look easy. Riggs right side on the first down. And Riggs is hammered there, hit hard by Collins, who works all along that line of scrimmage. Nolan Cromwell up there quickly, the great athlete operating from the safety position.
Looked like there's a...
And another flag and a holding now works against Atlanta. I'll remind you, we've had a very interesting weekend. I hope that at least we finished on Hawaiian time last night with a thrilling fourth quarter. The Cowboys pulling it out over New Orleans. Well, next Monday night, it'll be Seattle and San Diego. Coach Don Coryell, I'm sure, terribly concerned with the loss of Chandler. And of course, the great tight end, Kellen Winston. We wish him the very best. He has given us so many thrills over the past 5 years. Holding was against Arthur Cox, and they'll back the Falcons up to their 27-yard line.
I tell you, to be a defensive line trying to play against this Falcon team, you have to strap that helmet on tight because they got a tight end, Arthur Cox, who's 255 pounds, and they're bringing this Jeff Benson in motion. They got a couple of extra big tackles in there blocking for him.
First down and 20, the Falcons. At the 27-yard line, Bartkowski, draw play, Riggs, fools no ball. Fumble, the ball is loose. Rams are saying they have it. As far, no turnovers. Nope, it'll be second down, Atlanta. That was Mike Giroux in there defensively.
That was one of those calls where you hope that you got the defense really looking for a pass and you can split it right up the middle. Didn't fool them that time.
It's also one of the downs, first down and 20. The first thing the defensive coach will yell to the players on the field is to watch the draw. You know?
You're sitting there as a back, and you hear everyone shouting, draw, draw. You're hoping for the automatic. You don't get it. Gives you a very weird stomach. Second down and 27. Bartkowski trying to get the pass off to Floyd Hodge, incomplete. It'll be a third down and long yardage. So many interesting things happen in this league. Atlanta goes out and they beat the Rams. The Rams had beaten the Giants and gave up only 8 yards offense to the Giants. And it's just really kind of strange. Atlanta goes out and beats the Rams. They come back here, and last week the Giants just mauled them right here. I guess they call it situational matchups.
That's a good name for it.
Well, we just made one.
Yeah, when you're hot, you're hot. When you're not, you're not.
Third down and a whole bunch for Bartkowski. That's Hodge in motion. Again, the protection and the screen. Riggs and tripped up. Meisner sliding all the way out there from nose tackle, getting help from Johnny Johnson, who is good to see him back in the lineup. This all-pro first-round pick in 1980. Broke a couple of bones in his ankle during training camp, and there was a question as to whether he was even going to get back into play this year, but I know the Rams welcome him back as we do. Lansford to punt.
Did you see Hodge?
Cisco, or rather, Giacomo.
Yeah, I did see Hodge.
You see Hodge get caught up in motion? He didn't go fast enough. He got caught up in the blocks.
That's Eller deep for Giacomo. Eller, a leading punt returner in the league, and this is one of the reasons they block well on their special teams.
All right.
And Eller all the way back into Atlanta territory near the 43-yard line. It was Giacomo, Ralph Giacomo, the punter, who had to make the save. Now Eller doing his thing once again tonight. We'll be back. Eller brings it back 29 yards. He came in tonight leading the league, averaging over 13 yards. Had a great return of 83 yards against the Giants, so he can take it all the way at any time. Rams good field position near the 43-yard line of the Atlanta Falcons. Still no score with 2:14 remaining in the first quarter. Jeff Kemp fires it out to Otis Grant. And Grant, the second-year man out of Michigan State, will be short of the first down, a gain of about 7. Bobby Butler defensively there for Atlanta. Interesting story here. Bartkowski, when he was at the University of California, so too was Vince Ferragamo. And Bartkowski obviously had nailed down that job there, so Vince went on to Nebraska, and they have been rivals for many years now, with Ferragamo, of course, out with the injury, the broken hand. They will not be going up against each other tonight, but Vince is just about ready to come back. And then for John Robinson, it'll be decision time between this young man, Jeff Kemp, and Ferragamo. 2nd and 4. That's Crutchfield.
Looked like it was.
And Crutchfield banged at the 35-yard line, short of the first down. It'll be 3rd down and 2.
This is a rumor. I don't know this to be true, but I think that Ferragamo and Bartkowski finished 1 and 2 when they were in California as being the most beautiful boy there. I heard that.
You heard that?
Yeah.
That is Kenny Johnson, the Atlanta Falcon strong safety, and a good one. Along with Pridemore, they really provide a lot of hitting from back there. And they're looking at him right at the moment. So as they continue to look after Kenny Johnson, we'll go away for a moment and we'll check it out when we come back. 3rd down, long 2 for the Rams at the 35-yard line of the Atlanta Falcons. We have 1:49 and the clock is moving. The 2 tight ends are in. Mike Barber, starting to get a little more work for the Rams, is also in there. Dickerson. He makes 3rd and 2 very easy. Inside the 30-yard line, 1st down Rams. Dickerson really behind his pace of a year ago when he went over 1,800 yards, but he broke loose last week against New Orleans, had a 164-yard day, and popped that big one, O.J., that only speedsters can, with a 66-yard run against them.
And he'll start to pop a few more big ones. What has happened is the defensive backs around the league finally realizes just how fast he is, and they've been taking different angles on him, so he hasn't had as many long runs, but he'll make adjustments earlier in his runs, and he'll break a few big ones.
Kenny Johnson back in the lineup. He was the injured Atlanta Falcon when we went away for commercial. 1st down and 10, the Rams. They're at the 29-yard line of the Falcons. Dickerson again.
Good tackle.
Good tackle. That's Buddy Curry sliding out from middle linebacker.
Dickerson says that he's the fastest back in the league. Do you think that's true, O.J.?
Oh, it'll be interesting to see him against Dorsett. You know,
Yeah.
I saw Dorsett run about a 9.4 in tennis shoes at the Superstar competition once.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see him. I think Dickerson may be a little more versatile in his speed. He can run inside of a lot of traffic real well and he changes his directions at a faster speed than I think, Tony. But
those are the numbers thus far.
He's not doing bad, is he?
He's in the NFL. He's not doing,
he's not doing bad.
Walter Payton got off to a great start. Dickerson coming in tonight. In 7 games played, he had 5 100-yard games. Isn't that weird? You're talking
really
about
is.
a guy that maybe behind his pace of a year ago. Just ripping it off every night.
The Ponies could use him down in Austin this weekend. I know that.
Offsides against Atlanta. First down at 5. The ball inside the 25 of Atlanta.
Look out.
Jeff Kemp had the blitz on, and the youngster gets it off and fires it complete to Drew Hill. And Drew Hill will have a Ram first down. There's Jeff Van Note. He's right up there with the oldsters in this league. He's been around 16 years, and he still gets it done. Former NFL Players Association president.
Yeah.
I guess he's getting his hair done by Kenny Stabler.
Yeah, I think Jeff
the beard for sure.
Yeah, he's 38 years old. I can't imagine anybody else in the league that age.
It's a good look.
Good pass by Jeff Kemp. He had the blitz coming. I'm sure he must have sensed it. He still was able to get it off to Drew Hill. First down Rams. They're at the 19-yard line of Atlanta. We're heading to the final seconds of the first quarter. Still no score. Dickerson drives the right side. Just spins and twists off everybody inside the 10. He's close to another first down. I believe he has it. As the first quarter ends, and he's putting on a show tonight.
He's slowing down this year, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Behind the pace of last year. So if he doesn't do it all in his time, we'll see. Los Angeles Rams behind Eric Dickerson, moving through the Atlanta Falcon defense, getting big yardage on the ground. Dickerson was inches short of a first down in the final period of the first quarter. So it'll be second down and inches. Not a bad waist down to go for the 6. But will they turn loose, Jeff Kemp? Why, if you have Dickerson even try, he's to the 5. It'll be first down goal to go. I know that Jeff Kemp's father is looking on. Jack, an old teammate of mine, Little Dome, but he was with the Giants in 1958 before Congressman Kemp went up to Buffalo and won some AFL championships and out to San Diego. And he's getting all the credit. Jeff Kemp has a lovely mother, Joanne. And I know she's equally as proud. And as well they should be, because when he came up a free agent 4 years ago, there wasn't much hope he was going to stick around. And it's a good thing he did stick around for the Rams, because he has won 3 of his 4 starts since Ferragamo went down in the 3rd game of the season with a broken hand. Dickerson now 51 yards, 7 carries.
Oh, that was nice.
There was movement over on the left side. Action continues. Richardson makes a stop, but Chris Faulkner, the rookie out of Florida, moved for the Rams.
Well, Mike Barbara, number 86, is trying to work himself back into condition.
I think it was Barbara, actually, who moved. And the rushing yardage, he had one big one called back, too, didn't he?
Yep.
That's all Eric's. Those are the numbers through the first quarter. Still no score. Rams, however, threatening. Again, the Rams, I'm sure, are not looking forward to Sunday's game when they meet the San Francisco 49ers in Los Angeles, because they do have their hands full tonight. But I'm sure that in the back of all their minds, they're thinking that, well, we still are the masters of our own fate. If we win tonight over Atlanta, we'll be 2 behind the 49ers, and we play them twice more. As a matter of fact, we'll bring you the Rams and 49ers final game of the season from San Francisco. Drew Hill in motion. And Jeff Kemp looking at the blitz man right in his face.
This is when the folks start saying, well, he's too short to play quarterback. That's what they call Pat Hayden out there. I always used to tell Pat he was just too short to be a lawyer.
He could have built, well, Chamberlain would have had a hard time getting that over him.
That's the truth, too.
Well, Jeff did the exact right thing. He got rid of the ball, and that's what he has done for this team. Is he may not have all the glowing statistics, but he hasn't hurt him. He hasn't done anything to hurt him. When we saw last night when Kenny Stabler came to the game, he had a fumble and a sack, and that hurt their team.
At the 10-yard line, second down, goal to go. Dickerson. Rams offensive line
amazing?
blowing out. It was great
boy.
running, but the right side of that line, you could just see it. They moved that entire Atlanta left side back. And Dickerson, with those great instincts, takes it in from 10 yards out.
Got big Bill Bain over there on the right tackle. Let's see if we just take a look at it, O.J.
Well, the first thing the line did for him, they got no penetration, and that's what a back needs. If he has no penetration, he can start looking around for something.
That
So
was
he's
Hara.
running now against the safety, number 37. He cuts back, And there's a lot of guys running in the NFL that don't have those eyes to see holes like that.
Good block by Hara, who came out to lead that one, too.
Guy sees it all.
Lansford is on for the conversion. We get the first score of the evening with 13:57 remaining in the second quarter. Lansford kicking with the bare foot, puts it through the uprights. And the Rams are on top 7-0. We'll be back in Atlanta in just a moment. And out comes Kenny Johnson for the Atlanta Falcons. Out over the 15, close to the 18-yard line, where it'll be first down and 10 Atlanta.
Was that Ivory Sully
of the Rams moved up there to make the stop?
He does that so many times. You mentioned earlier, he made a tackle on the punt earlier, but Ivory Sully's been around for a number of years, primarily as a fifth back or sixth back, defensive back, but he is a real leader on that second on the specialty teams.
And again, we understand we have lost the video because of a huge storm that has hit New York, and our signal emanating from there we'll keep you as close to the game as we can. Atlanta with the first down at 10. The ball near their own 19-yard line. They shift into a single back offense. Both teams using a lot of motion, and they send Arthur Cox in motion, and Bartkowski gets it out quickly to the wide receiver on a short pattern. He's covered there quickly by Carl Eckern of the Rams. Good linebacking out here. Benson was the receiver for Atlanta, and he is dropped quickly before he could get any kind of blocking out in front of him.
Well, Atlanta, they're running some pretty conservative plays. On that play, they had their two tight ends clip. Benson and Arthur Cox exchanged positions, and they threw a little flat pass to Benson, unfortunately, for no gain.
And it was a loss of 2 by Benson. Falcons now looking at a second down and 12. And Bartkowski is back once again. Bartkowski fires a shot. It's complete to Floyd Hodge, and Hodge tries to huddle it and throws it right into the arms of Jim Collins of the Rams. It was Floyd Hodge. It looked altogether like it was a lateral. It was Carl Eckern who hit Floyd Hodge, and I'll tell you, Jim Collins was wide open, but he had the wrong uniform on. We'll look again.
Well, first he does a little bobbling job right here.
Here you want it, you got it.
Cromwell missed it. Oh, it was knocked out.
It was knocked out.
Yeah.
It was knocked out. It looked all for the world as though he had tried to lateral. And they were booing here in Atlanta because it did look exactly like he tried a lateral.
That was Carl Eckern, I think, that knocked it out of his arms.
Carl Eckern.
And Jim Collins, that coach must have been right. He just got good instincts. That's why he makes so many tackles.
Oh, he's having a great year. He's almost double the number of tackles of anyone else on this Ram team.
He really, they ask him, say, give me a Jim Collins on Jim Collins. He says, well, I key on the guard. Once I react to him, I take my first step, and I zero in the ball carrier. I don't even notice anybody else, the blockers or anybody.
First and goal to go for the Rams. Barry Redden comes into the offensive set for the Rams. Ball just inside the 10-yard line. Play action. Jeff Kemp fires, and it's touchdown. Ellard, and Ellard has a touchdown. And Jeff Kemp, little play action, and then zipped one out to Ellard, and the fans grow angry here in Atlanta. I still think they thought that was an attempted lateral by Floyd Hodge.
Well, we saw a similar play like this in our highlight. They opened the show. Ellard goes out, catches a little flat pattern, and all of these Rams receivers do an excellent job of running with the ball after they catch it, as you saw there.
Really good move back inside. Bobby Butler, he left going out to the end zone there. Bobby just overran him. And this is how they got down there in such good position.
Now
you
watch
see Carl Eckern. Right?
What a good move.
Hey,
Carl.
I think he did that on purpose,
He did
didn't
that on purpose.
They really are not allowed to punch that ball out.
Well, nobody saw him except us on replay.
Mike Lansford. This crowd didn't see it because they still think that he was trying to lateral it. But obviously was not. It was a good play by Eckern. At least he got away with it. And quickly, Jeff Kemp strikes to Henry Ellard, and the Rams are on top 14-0. Rodney Tate, a speedster who has played most of his career with Cincinnati, acquired at the beginning of the season, has a lot of speed. He's back there deep, but this one will fall in the arms of Kenny Johnson. And Johnson out over the 20-yard line, and Atlanta will have their hands full getting back into this ball game. They are down 14-0, 12:40 remaining in the second quarter. We'll be back in just a moment. The Falcons down 14-0, and a loss tonight could just about pretty much wipe out their season. And they know that. They would fall to 3-5, and San Francisco is running away with it in their division. On 1st and 10, Bartkowski is back. No receiver. And again, this is not what he likes to do.
Yeah, you can tell he doesn't know how to do it also because he turned back into the pursuit instead of running away from it.
Had a strange shot of Mel Owen, linebacker, who was catching the first back out of the backfield and was trying to block him. He kept trying to block him, and Bartkowski couldn't find anybody. And then Mel Owen runs back into his deep coverage. What's wrong? Eric didn't hurt himself, did he? Little extra tape on the shoe.
We did see Barry Redden on the last offensive set following that turnover. It's 2nd down and 7. Bartkowski got 3 yards out of that. Draw play, handoff, Riggins, and Riggins just lunges out over the 30-yard line, short of the first down by a couple. And we understand that Dickerson is just replacing a toe piece on his shoe.
Boy, this is an interesting offensive blocking scheme the Falcons has. But these tight ends moving all over the place. I just saw Arthur Cox, number 88, once again come across the line of scrimmage. And he didn't trap a man, but he just walled off Jack Youngblood. So they essentially they have 2 extra tackles in this game. Unfortunately, they're behind and they have to throw the football.
Yeah, they do move around in peculiar sets. That's Floyd Hodge in motion. Bartkowski back on 3rd and 2. And that one was almost picked off. Diving in front of it was the linebacker Carl Eckern.
Boy, I tell you, Gerald Riggs delivered a terrific block on a blitzing linebacker over there and knocked him right square back. Gave him some time there. Riggs is a heck of a running back and a receiver, but you've got to feel that George Andrews is the guy that they really do miss a lot.
There's Henry Ellard. I mentioned that he could take it back at any time. He did against the Giants, 83 yards. He did it last year for 72 yards against New Orleans, and I'm going to get this guy straight yet. This is Ralph Giacomo.
Hey, way to go, Frank.
Former Penn Stater hangs one up high. Ellard.
What a move.
He's got some moves. Out to the 28-yard line. So the Rams have it back, 1st down and 10. And again, the tempers burst here in Atlanta. 47-yard punt by Giacomo.
There's William Andrews on the side there, and he's the guy, of course. Yeah, they really do miss. He's the exceptional back along with Dickerson and some of the other guys you have around the league, but they miss him.
And indeed, we all hated to lose him. But he'll be back. And we'll be back. We asked the obvious question of head coach John Robinson. Did he change his offense because of Kemp?
Well, we limited it strictly because from an intellectual standpoint or just from a fundamental standpoint, the number of things you have to handle perhaps is too much for a beginning quarterback. But he has certainly made some potentially bad plays into good plays. And more important than that, he has made potentially bad plays not bad losses and gotten us an incomplete pass or prevented an interception or a sack, which is really very important.
That was head coach John Robinson, and that was the youngster he was talking about, Jeff Kemp, and he gets the ball out complete to Gooman. And where he really said, and we emphasized it earlier, that he has not caused problems. Came into tonight having thrown the ball 81 times without an interception, and he has not hurt that mark thus far this evening.
You know, that's absolutely true. When a young quarterback does come in, that's where they usually, you know that it's the backup quarterback because they make the mistakes, and he hasn't been doing that.
Eric Dickerson back in the game. He's been the dominant force in the early going.
He will be again in the late going.
2nd down and 7. Dickerson drops the ball. He's a force once again, only for Atlanta, and Kenny Johnson covers, and that's what Atlanta needed. I think it was just that Dickerson taking it up the middle was just looking for an opening.
Yeah, it appeared as if he looked outside and didn't secure the ball.
Tom Pridemore makes the recovery.
As the hand, hit him on the shoulder pad.
Hit him on the elbow.
Now that could be his fault for not getting his hands right, but we backs all say it's the quarterback's responsibility to get me the ball because I'm running against 11 guys and all he's doing is handing me the football.
I think you're right.
That's a running back talking.
I agree with him that time.
29-yard line. 1st down and 10 Atlanta. They're down 14-0. The crowd loves it. And there's movement. Jack Youngblood was in there quickly. Flags fly. Whether he was gone off, we could not tell. He's not complaining as the flags are on the natural turf here at Fulton County Stadium.
The defensive linemen love to see that. They see some movement in that offensive line. They're gone.
And particularly a veteran, a wily, crafty one like Jack Youngblood.
Wiley, WCV.
False start, number 62.
Yeah.
Offense, 1st down.
You move a finger, and Jack Youngblood will make the move. There is the safety man, Tom Pridemore, who was Johnny on the spot a moment ago to recover the fumble by Eric Dickerson. And Atlanta hurts themselves with movement on the part of their right tackle, Brett Miller.
Calling his campaign office.
Brett Miller is enormous. O.J. touched on it earlier. He's 6'7", 285 pounds. And he will have his hands full tonight with a very quick Jack Youngblood. First down, 15. Ball near the 33-yard line.
All right.
Floyd Hodge on the inside reverse. And Hodge gets a little daylight and down to the 25-yard line. Back to the original line of scrimmage plus 4 yards. And we're going to pause 5 seconds and allow our stations to identify themselves.
KCRG TV9, Cedar Rapids, Waterloo, Iowa.
And if you just joined us, welcome to the Rams in Atlanta. Very important game. National Football Conference Western Division. The Falcons and the Rams trying to stay with the 49ers. The Rams broke on top. Good running by Eric Dickerson. They lead 14-0. Atlanta has a turnover, however. They have a second down and 6 inside the 25-yard line of the Rams. That's Gerald Riggs still on his feet and struggling. He's strong.
Well, the
Reggie
Rams are
Doss
certainly
and Charles DeJournay defensively there.
The Rams are certainly psyched up for this because these guys are doing some trick blocking inside, and it is a physical football game. Unfortunately for the Falcons to play this type of game, you got to be in the game, because if they get too many points down, you're going to gain a whole lot of yards, but you're not going to score many points. But if this game continues to go like this, we're going to see some injured players in that interior defensive line of the Rams.
Third down and 6. Riggs, the single setback. And there is that movement in the trap block that O.J. was mentioning as Benson comes along in motion and put the trap on the outside man. Riggs, short of the first down, is going to bring up 4th down and down 14-0. What will Dan Henning, the second-year coach of the Falcons, do? And he trots out Mick Luckhurst, who has missed from 42 yards out on the very first possession of the Falcons.
Well, I think what they're trying to do is it's like a fighter. They hit him with a lot of body shots now. In the later rounds, we'll take care of him, and that's exactly what the Falcons are doing because I'm telling you, those tight ends in motion, those are blind side blocks. I mean, it's wearing out the Rams. It could wear them out.
39-yard attempt by Mick Luckhurst. He is now 9 of 11 on the year. Well within the range. And this time, splitting the uprights. Mick Luckhurst puts Atlanta on the scoreboard. 8:06 remaining in the first half. Dan Henning. All coaches worry, don't they? Well, they should. Second down and 5, and Dickerson is working tonight. That time, good hit. That was number 58. Good linebacking by David Fry, the second-year man out of Purdue. Atlanta changing personnel around him. Their defensive linebacking. This time Redden held to a couple, so it'll be third down and about 4 with 5:20 in the clock moving here in the first quarter.
It's like one of those old-time football games, and not a lot of fancy passing, just putting the ball on the ground and running it.
On natural turf, too. I like to see that.
Oh, yes, they get dirty and sweaty. This is what Jeff Kemp can do. A lot of quarterbacks can't. He's a good athlete. They take him, but he gets it back to the line of scrimmage. And that will bring out the punting unit.
Pretty good movement there that time by Pitts. For a big old boy, he stayed right with him. Got the angle. Jeff's not pleased, of course. Didn't have many choices, though, did he? They had some pretty good pressure on him.
There's a lot of deep breathing going on out there. John Minsko is on. You're looking at the deep man, Willie Kern. Once again, I'll point out, Billy White Shoes Johnson was hurt in the Ram game, returning a punt, out for the season. His third knee injury of his career. Brilliant career was indeed. Hopefully it's not over. Minsko. Oh, this is a beauty.
Yeah.
Hangs up there a long time. Willie Kern. Wow. You heard it all the way up here as the flag goes down, as they so frequently do on kicking situations in the league. It was Mark Giroux hustling down there.
That was a collision, wasn't it?
Whoa. Well, the Rams have been excellent on special teams this year. They've been just about the best in the NFL. They're at the top of the list in all categories. They're showing it here tonight.
Illegal block. Number 23 on the run back. First down. Timeout.
Bobby Butler of the Falcons detected with the illegal block, and that'll back the Falcons all the way inside their 10-yard line. Good punt by Misko, 50-yarder.
Cannot turn out the lights right now. No, sir, because we're getting it going. Besides, we're seeing Atlanta's version of this wave going around here. How'd you like Dallas's wave last night, Drew?
A little shaky, a tad shaky, but it worked in the end.
Here they go. Look out.
This is a decent one.
This is for the folks who can't do aerobics during the day.
Atlanta, 1st and 10, the ball at their own 14-yard line. This is Riggs, right side, and Riggs turns back into a lot of trouble.
How do they know when the wave stops?
When they get tired, a couple of times around, one section will get tired and just stop doing it. Tell you what, the Falcons are trying to do it the tough way. They're going up against the Rams' rush defense, which is 3rd in the entire NFL. They're going to have to start throwing the ball if they're going to get anything going here tonight.
That's one statistic, sometimes misleading, but they are 12th in their conference against the pass. And Bartkowski, one of the better passers in the game. This time he goes on top on 2nd and 10, and he gets the ball to Hodge, and Hodge struggles up to the first down.
That was a nice little quick turnaround and a quick release, wasn't it? He quick play fake in the middle, turned around and fired it out to Hodge.
Tell you what they've been doing. OJ's been commenting on it right along with the motion man, trapping the interior linemen of the Rams. It's going to make that Ram defensive line personnel think twice about their freewheeling pass rush, and it will slow them down somewhat.
You talk about hearing footsteps.
Oh, yeah, they won't move quite so quickly. First down is out over the 20-yard line, and this is Riggs. And Riggs breaks tackles and bangs heads and gets yardage out of it. Like the way he runs.
Yep, he does.
He came in, he started for William Andrews and set an Atlanta Falcon record the opening game of the season against New Orleans. Carried the ball 35 times. That was a record. Andrews have never done that. And he gained 202 yards. And right away, he got people's attention around the league. He got 4 out of that. Running over a couple of Rams in the process. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Ball at the Falcons, 24-yard line. Riggs will try left side again. Oh, and he accelerates.
He did, didn't he?
Good running once again by Riggs, and very close to the first down.
Well, you know, the Rams' defensive line is not the biggest in the league. Normally, when you play this 30 defense, you need some big, healthy guys up there, but they're hustle. They hustle. They sort of swarm tackle, but you look in the middle, that nose tackle, Don, is Meisner. He's only 253 pounds, and normally you'd like to get a guy either quicker or much bigger playing that position.
It's funny when you say only 253, you know, but I know what you mean. Yeah, he's only 253 pounds.
Today, that's a midget.
Yeah.
But he's getting double teamed in there all the time, and boy, you either got to be pretty quick or pretty big.
Inches short of the first down. You can anticipate Riggs on this. On 3rd down. That's Benson. He's the motion man. He's been doing the crack back blocking.
Yeah, whoa.
Did you see that?
Whoa.
He knocked Youngblood's helmet off.
I'm telling you.
Jack says, would you give me a break, man? What was that?
Whoa.
That's called closing the trap, Jack. I don't blame you, son. He's been doing that for years and years and years. And I bet he's not been hit much harder than that in his whole career.
No.
That was a good effort by Riggs to get the first down. He was met by Collins, Doss, Andrews, and yet he did manage to surge for the first.
I tell you one good thing, if these Falcon tight ends were blocking them low, we see a lot of injured. They'd have to make a law against that. There'd be a rule against it.
On 1st and 10. It's like a fire drill out there. Bartkowski's back. Gets it over the middle.
All right, let's get even.
That ball is loose.
There's another.
Eckern putting the hit on Arthur Cox.
Not my helmet. All right. Watch this. You see the man in motion coming across the field.
Number 87.
Cliff Benson.
87. You see, hey, I think Jack may have been looking for him on this play.
Well, if he was looking for him, I bet he's sorry he found him.
Benson goes about 234, and Jack Youngblood about the same. Not one of your big defensive ends, and that was one of your fine collisions.
Benson got underneath him.
It'll be 2nd down and 10. That's Hodge in motion. Riggs gets away from Youngblood, and he loses the football. It's loose. And the Rams cover.
I think Youngblood may have.
Mel Owens is there, and Jack Youngblood very slow getting up.
He hurt his arm. It looked like Riggs slipped the tackle. Jack hit him in the backfield. See him kind of wander off there. Look at 85 come in. Here's Riggs coming off the right tackle, and right in there is where Youngblood had him, but seemed to have hurt his arm or something.
That's Nolan Cromwell that applied the hit on Riggs that made the cough. And Mel Owens covers. The Rams get their 2nd turnover, and they are inside Atlanta Falcon territory at the 44-yard line. 2:32 remaining in the half. It was Johnny Johnson, who was just coming back from that broken ankle in training camp, that put the hit on Riggs and caused the fumble that was covered by Mel Owens. And so the Rams begin their 3rd possession of the night inside Atlanta territory. They have a 1st down and 10. The ball near the 44-yard line of the Falcons. Dickerson. Good blocking. Bye-bye. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Oh, and he's run down by Kenny Johnson. Good block. Kent Hill out in front. The pulling guard. Dickinson timed it off beautifully and rips off 34 yards before Ken Johnson pulls him down.
I sure thought he was gone.
The 10-yard line.
Beautiful. He gets Kent Hill out there. He gets Mike Gooman out there, number 44. They both get good blocks. And as I said earlier, he had cut back so many times. Sometimes the pursuit is a little late getting there, and you see Pride more than these guys are just chasing.
Johnson had a good angle on him, I guess.
And that gets us down to the 2-minute warning. Dickerson having a big night already. 112 yards, 13 carries, and he's got a couple more minutes to go. A reminder that at halftime, Jim Lampley will be along with activity from yesterday around the league, so stick around. We'll be back in just a moment. Dickerson, what a delight he is to watch. Jeff Kemp loses the football, and Atlanta has it. And taking off with it is David Fry. David Fry.
Well, the whistle has blown.
And they're going to bring it back, but it's a lot of fun down here.
Well, they were sure taking some shot at Dickerson, weren't they?
Oh, you're going to hear some booing in a moment. This crowd really not aware of what's happened yet. Yeah, Jerry, bring it back. Well, there's one David Fry is going to remember whether it counts or not.
Yeah, I guess they're going to rule that when he went down to pick it up, he was touched.
There's Jeff Kemp pulling away from the center, Doug Smith. Smith maybe just getting a bit of a jump on that snap count.
It was hit by Hara's arm, looked like to me.
It really was. Left guard. Or I think it was actually the right guard, Dennis Hara, who swung his arm back to try to get a little momentum. And then it was David Fry who picked up the ball, but I think he
Kemp had touched him,
ruled that he had been touched and was down. We'll get it sorted out with Jerry Markwright if the fans will let him. Well, I'm sure that's what happened. They don't like it here, do they?
No.
It was almost a sellout. It wasn't sold out before the game. It looks like well over 50,000. We'll try and get the official word from the bench. Well, the word is that he was touched and down. Therefore, he could not advance it. Bartkowski on 1st down. Still moving around. Now he's in deep trouble. Reggie Doss is there defensively for the Rams. The loss is all the way back inside the 10-yard line, close to the 7.
I tell you, Don, the Rams defensive secondary is doing a super job of covering these receivers. And once these receivers are covered, they're not doing a very good job of trying to improvise and find the open spot.
It's a good example, you know, what you're pointing out is they really missed this Johnny Johnson, was their premier defensive back, who's been hurt most of the year, and he's come back in. It's allowed Nolan Cromwell a little bit more flexibility, put him back where he can play free safety or the strong safety.
And he's already been a factor tonight, Johnny Johnson, causing 1 turnover, making a couple of tackles. 1:20 remaining in the half. Bartkowski gets it to Alfred Jackson.
Didn't get much.
Not much. And it's going to bring up 3rd down. Gary Green, one of the fine defensive backs in all of football, acquired from Kansas City, this year by the Rams. They gave up a lot to get him. They gave up a first and a fifth, but they wanted him. He was there defensively working against Jackson. One of the timeouts have been called by the Rams. They have 2 remaining. We'll be back after this from the National Football League. Fulton County Stadium, and the crowd is still mumbling. They still think that the Atlanta Falcons, David Fry, was able to pick up a fumble and go the distance. We're going to look at it from the reverse ankle now. Watch number 60. That's Hera. He swings his arm back, knocks the ball loose from Jeff Kemp. Now, Fry is there. Kemp goes for the ball, but Fry is going to come up with it. But while Fry is on the ground, Kemp makes the contact
with his leg,
right
really.
there, and leg and hand.
Yep.
And it's dead there under rule. And the crowd, of course, couldn't see it from the reverse angle.
Yeah, he's
and we
Hera.
didn't until just now. We were speculating, but that's exactly what it was.
And you can see Kemp talking to Hera there, probably telling him exactly what happened.
3rd down and 8. 1:08 remaining here in the first half. Bartkowski, and this is Riggs.
Oh,
Riggs makes a lot of noise when he makes the collision.
I think Eckern was there. The Rams called another timeout because they didn't make the first.
And they, of course, are thinking we can get the ball back. We have a good field goal kicker. They have 1 timeout remaining, the Los Angeles Rams. Again, a busy weekend. Lots of fun down in Dallas in the late going of that one. The Cowboys coming back from 27-6 in the 3rd quarter to win over New Orleans. And we'll pick up next Monday night. Seattle in great shape out in that really tough American Conference Western Division. Seattle 6-2. Of course, the Raiders and Denver are 7-1. And it's always fun when you're with Dan Fouts and the San Diego Chargers. A little less fun, however, this time around because of the loss of Kelvin Winslow. One of the truly great players I've seen come into this game for so many years.
Is Chandler, do they know about him yet, or is he coming back, or they don't know?
Don't know for sure about Wes Chandler, but he did leave the game yesterday early on and did not come back.
Those Seahawks are tough.
Giacomo, 10th round draft pick last year out of Penn State. We're going to be talking about those injuries at halftime. Jim Lampley is here in Atlanta. Also highlights, so stick around. We'll give you a full update. Henry Ellard is back. He's dangerous.
What a nice kick.
Ellard looks for a picket line. And again, he pops it open.
Oh, he is
amazing.
Gone. He is gone.
Henry Ellard. He did it.
Oh, is that unbelievable?
4 weeks ago against the Giants, 83 yards. It looked like he was trapped back at the 40-yard line. We see no flags. And Henry Ellard, who came into tonight leading the NFL in punt returns. He did it a year ago, does his thing, a 69-yard return. Beautifully executed.
Picked up a couple of nice blocks. You see 88 came down, got his head in front. Maybe not in front of that one, but it's behind the play.
And then the cutback.
The big cutback.
He is gone, isn't he?
Funny, you see a guy like Dickerson comes on a team, great breakaway runner and broken field runner, then everybody on the team start looking like a breakaway broken field runner.
Well, they'd rather see a sermon than hear one any day.
You know what? That's his 3rd career touchdown, returning punts. They have a guy named Leroy Irvin who used to return punts for the Rams, now a regular cornerback. He has 4 punt returns for touchdowns. They're both in the Rams. Lansford pops it through the uprights. And the Rams move out to a 21-3 lead. Yes, sir, Henry, you got it, baby.
He did say mama and daddy. That was good, Henry. Good.
He's been listening to you.
Way to go.
Ooh, and the natives are restless here in Atlanta. The boos beginning to become a crescendo.
You know, I think if they don't come out and throw an awful lot, then we can speculate a little bit of how badly Bartkowski's back may feel. We mentioned at the top of the show that he had a back spasm yesterday, and I guess as recently this morning they didn't really know whether he's going to be able to play or not. But that might be one of the reasons why we haven't seen him throw that much.
Well, they've been having some success moving the ball on the ground in previous weeks, but the way they play offense, it takes an awful lot out of an offense to try to beat up the defensive team. You can't do that week in and week out.
Yeah.
Your team is going to suffer for it as the year goes on, and one thing we do know now, they're going to be forced to try to throw the football.
So much on the line tonight because they have to be thinking division, both the Falcons and the Rams. And San Francisco is off to a 7-1 start. I say thinking division, not wild card, because there's a whole bunch of 5-3 teams that are already around halfway through the season. Even in the Eastern Division of the NFC, you've got St. Louis, Washington, Dallas. They're all 5-3. and a bunch of them throughout the league.
Bears.
Lansford bangs it. And taken once again. This time by Sylvester Stamps.
Tell you that's Collins again.
Stamps out over the 25-yard line. The Falcons have 3 timeouts. It's going to be interesting to see if they're going to try to work for points.
If they run one in the middle, you're going to hear this.
Ooh, you're going to hear a lot of problems here.
Fulton County Stadium will be filled with boos. Goodness.
Hey, that's no boo. I tell you what, the happiest guys on the field about the score now are the Rams down linemen.
Yeah.
Make these guys throw the ball.
Get off that running game, those trap blocks coming back. Jack Youngblood's going to need a new helmet. They've been hammering away at him with that Cliff Benson. It goes about 235 pounds. They're just really rapid, Youngblood and Goss. That's the time remaining, and again, the Falcons have 3 timeouts.
Did you see that one?
Darrell Riggs.
Telling you.
And Riggs out to close to first down yardage near the 38-yard line. It was Collins again defensively for the Rams.
Well, you know that. You saw that, huh?
Cox,
I know
right?
Cox hit Jack Youngblood on that play. I'm sure Jack is a little aware of those guys coming inside of him. He looked inside, and boy, did he get tagged.
I've never
by
seen
Arthur
anybody
Cox
get turned over that quickly.
Atlanta calls timeout. They'll have 2 remaining. Nope. Flag down. I didn't see it. They're bringing this back.
Illegal motion. Number 85, offense.
For Jack's sake, I hope it was Cox.
It was Alfred Jackson, the wide receiver.
Look at this.
Watch 85 down. Watch this. Watch 88, Arthur Cox. Oh, my goodness gracious.
You don't see that too often,
I'll
do
tell
you?
you, he is a big dude out of Texas Southern. We've talked about him already now. He's 6'2" and close to 260.
And Jack get him from the left, from the right. He said, will somebody hit me straight on?
Down remains the same following the illegal motion, but it's first down and 15. So Atlanta keeps their 3 timeouts. Riggs again. Riggs, they work him on the ground. They work him as a receiver.
How many times do you see one linebacker come in a situation like that and hit his own player, and they just knock him out, man?
Atlanta calls timeout. I think they're just responding to the boos that were beginning to roar out of the stadium.
That's William Andrews right there. Doesn't look like he's close to coming back.
All right, let's go now to Jim Lampley.
All right, Frank, while we've got a moment, let's take a look at what happened to your ball club yesterday. Without knowing it, the Giants had a chance to move into a tie for first place with the Washington Redskins while the Skins were losing to St. Louis. Instead, it was the Eagles who came out on top in Philadelphia 24-10. This was the first Philadelphia touchdown of the ball game. Jaworski to Kenny Jackson, the rookie out of Penn State. And here you're going to see the speed, which was the reason why the Eagles coveted Jackson as the complement to Mike Quick, running away from Kenny Daniel and Bill Courier for an 81-yard touchdown pass. No, make it an 83-yard touchdown pass. Later, however, Jackson suffered a separated shoulder, expected to be out about 6 weeks, just one of several significant injuries in the league yesterday. We'll talk about him at halftime. Back to you, Franklin.
Thank you, Jim. I didn't know I owned a ball club.
Boy, that's
My ball club.
We were suspicious of that, remember?
Hey, God sell them. The price is pretty good right now. 2nd and 8. Atlanta with 2 timeouts. Here's Hodge. And Jim Collins is there defensively for the Rams, but Hodge gets up and gets out of bounds up near the 47-yard line. 5 seconds remaining, so you can stand by for your Big Ben, hopefully looking for the defensive foul. There's Gardkowski. Clock stopped with 5 seconds. Knows he's got the one play, and you're going to have to look for the defensive foul. There will be a lot of regrouping for Atlanta. Hang it up high and watch it come down. Hope you get the defensive foul. Boom. And nothing transpires. Time, however, runs out.
It was a pretty throw.
The Atlanta Falcons leave the field to a chorus of boos. They trail the Rams 21-3. Halftime activities, highlights with Jim Lampley coming up. Welcome back to Atlanta's Fulton County Stadium, where the Los Angeles Rams, behind a running wild Eric Dickerson, have a 21-3 lead over the Atlanta Falcons. Dickerson, 112 yards in that first half, making it look so easy. As a matter of fact, he needs 66 yards to overhaul Walter Payton as the leading rusher in the NFL halfway through this 1984 season. Rams are set to receive. A quick look at Barry Redden deep for Los Angeles, along with Drew Hill and Mick Luckhurst. We'll get the activities underway here in the second half. Barry Redden from the 3-yard line. And a good hurdle move by Barry Redden. They talked about him in the first half. He is a great running back out of Richmond, was a #1 draft pick, and unfortunately there's a man in front of him called Eric Dickerson. That's the numbers for the first quarter, and we'll dissolve that, bring up the stats for you at halftime. Again, reflected heavily in the yardage accumulated by Eric Dickerson. He had 112 of those. And total yards dominated by LA. Time of possession, however, which is again often misleading, Atlanta. First down, Los Angeles. They're at their own 44-yard line. Eric Dickerson stays in the game. The single setback. Jeff Kemp having a fairly good evening. They are controlling him. I don't think they really have to anymore. He's 6 of 10, 36 yards, and 1 touchdown. This time, Jeff will go down. Sacked back at the 33-yard line. Mike Pitts was there first. There was no receiver. And again, this youngster did not do anything drastic. He did not hurt the Rams, even though he was sacked. A lot of youngsters maybe would have put it up trying to get a completion just to get rid of it and given up the interception. Jeff Kemp did not. There was a loss all the way back, however, inside the 35 to the 33-yard line. Second down, long yardage. 2 tight ends are in. Mike Barber joins David Hill. Think about an Eric Dickerson, even with long yardage, you're still giving the ball. This time the defense of the Atlanta closes down. Mike Pitts at the bottom of that pile. John Rady also there defensively for Atlanta. Dickerson gets 3 or 4, but it still leaves Jeff Kemp in third and extremely long.
Well, Eric can't waste any time trying to get upfield. The great backs, they don't look. They know what they want to do the minute they get the ball. You saw that time. He didn't want to stretch it out. He knew he wanted to cut back. Didn't get much out of it. He's raring to go.
Mike Barber splits to the right on third down 19. Draw play Dickerson.
Watch it.
He'll not get the first down. He gets back to the original line of scrimmage before he's taken out of bounds by a fine young cornerback from LSU, James Britt. So it'll bring on the punting unit for the Rams. That means John Misko and Willie Curran will settle back for Atlanta somewhere near his 13-yard line.
This may be a good sign for Atlanta. They held them on that first series of downs. Atlanta actually has outscored their opponents rather heavily in the fourth quarter, and they need to do it tonight, don't they, to get back in this ball game?
Rather heavily. They're down 21-3. O.J. touched on it earlier in the first half. Rams have a very good special teams. Covering punts, returning punts. We've seen that already tonight. And there's a bobble. The fair catch by Willie Curran, and the Rams have it. They can't advance it. That was a muff. And they'll bring it back to the 21. And boy, this crowd's going to be angry now. 36-yard punt by Misko. He had it up there awfully high. Fair catch was called for by Willie Curran. He just dropped it. And Van Norwood, rookie out of East Carolina, covers. And the Rams threatening once again.
I think the fans have figured it out down here, haven't they? That's a pretty good sign. The Falcons' inconsistency is consistent.
Look at this. Now, you can always tell a heads-up team. Normally, if a team is great on special teams, whenever there's a fumble, they get the ball.
That's right.
You know, some teams can fumble and they get the ball back. Some teams can fumble. Other teams fumble. They don't get it. Great heads-up teams always comes up with the fumbles.
You know, Norwood Van made that recovery.
First down and 10, 21-yard line. Goodman in motion. Camp on the rollout.
He's got it.
Going back across field is David Hill.
Wow.
David Hill a little large for the hurdling effort. Flag is down, but Hill gets down to the 15-yard line before Rick Bryan is there. Flag is down.
That's usually a fairly successful play if you don't use it that much. What was the penalties on the Rams? I didn't see it. Did you, O.J.? Way to go.
There's Norwood, man, the rookie out of East Carolina. Interference now called against the Rams. Mike Barber. And so rather than having the ball, second down and 5 at the 15, they're going to have a first down and 20. The way to be warming up, Don. He hasn't been in offensively.
Yeah, a lot of times quarterbacks do that, just to come back. And
I wonder if it could be the back, though. He's just keeping it loose.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, too, because he's really not thrown deep, but that one time right before the half ended, and that was just a sky ball.
First and 20. Wayne Crutchfield, former Jet, former Houston Oiler, traded to L.A. in the offseason. The Jets let him go a year ago. He was their leading rusher. There was quite a doo-ha around it in New York. He's provided some good blocking for Dickerson this young season already.
And he's more than a decent runner. If they ever go to the two-back offense, they'd have a powerful fullback, and that's what you need for a breakaway runner like Dickerson. Take those third and shorts off him. You give him to that big fullback.
During the time McNeil was out of the lineup a year ago, he turned into a leading rusher for the Jets. Oh, Dickerson.
Was that a good block? And he threw that time.
Oh.
Dickerson knocks over Falcon, stays on his feet, gets inside the 20, down close to the 16-yard line.
Hey, Crutchfield is what you said.
I tell you, to be a great back, you have to have absolute confidence in your blockers, and you see the block that Crutchfield gave him.
Johnson.
I mean, he did one super job on that block. And a back, all he's doing is looking downfield because he has confidence in the guys in front of him. They're going to block those linemen and those blitzing corners or linebackers.
You see Eric Dickerson knock over Bobby Butler.
That was unbelievable. Just
Bobby Butler's a good quarterback.
One little forearm shiver.
He's only 175 pounds, though.
Third down and 6. Newman in motion. Kemp, and he's hit from behind. That was Dan Binish.
He may have gotten a little eye lock that time. He really wanted to go out here to the outside. It looked like to me to David Hill, and David just had a long time. He was slow opening up.
So now the Atlanta defense twice has stopped the Rams offense. However, the fumble recovery was deep enough that they can bring out Mike Lansford for the field goal attempt. Kicking with the bare foot. It's the first year for that with Lansford.
Appears that the Rams don't have enough men out there.
And now they are hustling out Kent Hill. Says, who, me? Now he's in the lineup, but we're going to pause, and we'll be back in Atlanta in just a moment. They had to use a timeout. Last year's hero of the New Orleans game that got the Rams into the playoffs. Mike Lansford is on. Kicked the winning field goal, final seconds against New Orleans. Final game of the season to put the Rams into the playoffs as a wild card. Nolan Cromwell is the holder for Mike Lansford, 38-yard attempt.
Right through the middle.
And Lansford scoops it through, but a flag is down. Flag down at the line of scrimmage. Holding, and Atlanta will have to try it again from much further back.
The Rams.
Oh, rather the Rams. Well, it's been a long night. I must have
been a long night.
It's been a long weekend. Yeah.
Holding number 85, offense, 4th down.
Now
Jack Youngblood.
Yeah. Not Jack's night tonight.
I could have said Dallas was holding, or New Orleans.
Jack was trying to block 2 guys that time. Often the outside guy gets stuck with 2 guys, and Kenny Johnson, you'll see number 37 will try to go around him, and he throws that arm out there. He's being held by one guy, and he's holding the other guy.
Strange things that happen when you get in close. Nolan Cromwell now will put it down. It'll be a 48-yard attempt. Mike Lansford's best this year is 37. His career best is 49.
All right.
Well, maybe we understand. So the Atlanta Falcons dodge another bullet. Score remains the same as it was at halftime. Defensively, the Falcons seem to have livened up somewhat. Now let's see what they can do offensively. Again, have to be concerned a little bit by Bartkowski. It's a very warm, muggy night here this evening for as late as it is in the year.
That's something very unusual. He hasn't thrown a touchdown pass in 3 consecutive games, and in my opinion, that's really what they're going to have to do to get back into it. He's going to have to throw a couple of touchdown passes.
And even with the warmth, he's been warming up constantly on the sidelines. We'll see what happens. First down and 10. Ball at the 31-yard line. Line of scrimmage for that field goal attempt, and this is Sylvester Stamps. and the rookie from Jackson State. Out close to the 35-yard line. He'll get about 4 out of that to bring up 2nd down and 6.
Sure. Oh,
when
boy.
we were in New York, they say short out the lights.
Short out the lights. Sort out the lights.
Well, this Ram defense, they're pursuing, they're getting to the ball. Jack Youngblood, you have to give him credit. He's been getting tagged here tonight, and he's still the one lineman that's putting some pressure on Bartkowski.
This is Riggs, and Riggs with a flag down gets a couple of yards out to the 38-yard line, and it's going to work against Atlanta. You know, when you watch Jack Youngblood play, you realize that he is very close to an all-time Ram record for consecutive games played. He was playing in his 195th consecutive game tonight. Merlin Olsen has that record at 198.
Played one with a broken leg.
That's
Number
amazing.
57, offense, 2nd down.
Well, we'll clear that up a little bit. It's a broken fibula. Not the whole leg.
Well,
And he did. He went through the playoffs with it, which was amazing. I broke mine skiing one time, and I know it smarts. Jeff Van Note was holding. Falcons are backed up inside their 25-yard line. Down remains the same. It's 2nd down and 14. Movement again. More Hankies. Sylvester Stamps. He's been troubled with a hamstring. It's a little action tonight. He gets back to the original line of scrimmage, but there was movement at the line of scrimmage, and the flag is down. This time, the 5-yard penalty will work against the Rams, so we will be back to where we were a few moments ago. We're going to pause 5 seconds and allow our stations to identify themselves.
KCRG TV9, Cedar Rapids, Waterloo, Iowa.
Back in Atlanta, a key game between the Rams and the Atlanta Falcons, National Football Conference, Western Division, all trying to stay within reach of the 49ers, who are 7-1. Atlanta's 3-4. The Rams are 4-3. This game dominated in the first half by Eric Dickerson and the Rams. They had a 21-3 to lead at halftime. That is the score at the moment. And Atlanta on a 2nd down and 12 as a ball mishandled as Bartkowski was tossing him back to Stamps. Bobbled the ball. They have to cover it, and there's going to be a loss of about 7.
That doesn't look good, does it? They're just kind of not in sync. That doesn't look good either. Yeah. Ooh. You're an ugly person. You're an ugly person.
Getting just about pumpkin time, though, isn't it? Moving in on Halloween.
Not that long, not that far away.
3rd down and 18.
You think, oh, Thielman's not ready, you got a scoop.
He's got a pin and a broken finger in that hand, and he's still playing.
a lot of protection for a broken finger.
3rd down, 18. Bartkowski tries to get it over the middle. It is incomplete. And again, the crowd roars his disapproval. That was Arthur Cox fighting it all the way.
These fans were very disappointed with their baseball season down there. They've become very big baseball fans, and they expected the Braves to be in it. So they're a little season of discontent.
And Joe Torre just walked through our booth there a moment ago. Did he decide to stay on?
No, they got a new manager, but I think they worked out a deal. He had already signed a couple-of-year contract or something like that.
Ralph Giacomaro. Henry Ellard is deep. That'll get your attention. He's already run one back tonight. Giacomaro puts this one up really high. Oh. That's Johnny Johnson. Cliff Austin hustles down there for Atlanta as Johnson is dropped inside the 25-yard line. Good punt by Giacomaro. 52-yard punt. 1st down and 10. We're in the 3rd quarter. The Rams with the football. They have a 1st down and 10 at their own 24-yard line, just out over their 24-yard line. Frank Everett along with O.J. Simpson and Don Meredith. Eric Dickerson having a big night. Coming off another one. He had 164 yards last week against New Orleans. And this, he just booms ahead up to the 30-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 5.
You know, Frank, O.J. had an attempt at something last night, and gosh knows he's trying. He's doing well, but he really he didn't do too well with it, O.J. So here tonight, now you want to try it again? Now go ahead.
No, you got it.
Now this telecast
is presented by the authority.
Has been presented.
is presented by the authority of the National Football League. It
Right.
is intended for the private use of our audience.
Right.
Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is prohibited.
That's a way to go.
Have
Left
their
off
own
the fight.
version down here, don't they? Here's Dickerson. And Dickerson, good effort. And Dickerson close to a first down.
I decided to leave the Falcons out of that the way they're playing tonight.
They figured they wouldn't want anybody to show it anyway, right?
First down, Eric Dickerson. Good running out over the 35-yard line. He is now up to 140 yards, getting ever closer to the rushing lead in the NFL. And keep in mind, we've already told you that he was off his pace of a year ago when he went for 1,808 yards.
Meanwhile,
OJ 2003 could be in jeopardy.
I tell you, he'll go over 1,000 a night the way he's going, and he has a half a season to go, and he hasn't revved it up yet.
That's the time remaining in the third quarter. He needs 29 yards now, Eric Dickerson. Otis Grant. And good work by Otis Grant. Get out back to the line of scrimmage. Marker's not out in front of it. Good defensive move there by Dan Benish, and then Kenny Johnson coming up from the safety position for Atlanta.
Otis, they're trying to get him the ball. I think John Robinson realizes this is his hometown. He went to Carver High School here. I'd like to see him do something big tonight in front of his family and friends.
Yeah.
Got him in the 5th round a year ago, and as I mentioned earlier, he's a good tall receiver. The only one wide receiver for the Rams over 6 feet.
Big Jack.
He is a method player, isn't he?
He is. They hit him on the left, hit him on the right. Jack's had a pretty tough day.
Second down and 10 as Barry Redden tries the left side. Atlanta defense firmed up somewhat here in the second half. They need to firm up the offense because they're down 21-3.
OJ,
We're halfway through the third quarter.
last night you seem to think that the Saints kind of in the third quarter tried to play a little conservative. It cost them. Do you think the Rams might be trying to do the same thing tonight?
Well, I don't. They're doing pretty much the same things that they did in the first half. I would expect to see them try to get Dickerson outside a little more right now. I think they're a little overdue for putting the ball up in the air, throwing one of those deep ones.
Third down and 8. It's not conservative anytime you give the ball to Dickerson.
Like on 3rd and 8.
Whoa! And the ball is loose, and Atlanta says they have it. Dickerson twice now has not handled the exchange from Jeff Kemp, and is covered by Don Smith, the veteran right defensive end. And Atlanta has quite an opportunity. 7:08 remaining here in the third quarter, and they can be explosive, particularly their quarterback Steve Bartkowski to Stacey Bailey. We'll look once again from reverse angle.
That time, I believe the quarterback got it in there, and he just juggled it and lost it.
Yeah, I think he's looking downfield. He's having a good night, so he's thinking about breaking it. And he's juggling the ball, trying to think of, what arm to put it under, and he just didn't get control of it.
For Atlanta, they have a first down at the Rams' 35-yard line. Stacey Bailey, the gifted receiver for Atlanta, still not a factor thus far in the evening. But you know it will be soon. Bartkowski, and very wisely gets out of bounds because the Thundering Hooves were approaching in the form of Mel Owens.
Well, he threw that pump out there trying to suck Gary Green up, and Gary Green didn't fall for it. He stayed with his man, so his primary receiver was taken away from him, and he tried to improvise. And as we stated earlier, these receivers, when they don't get the ball on their breaks, they aren't improvising too well for the Atlanta Falcons.
Bartkowski now has picked up some pretty good yardage for a non-running quarterback. Had a couple of games in the first half. Not necessarily that he wanted to do it, but he got 4 yards out of that to bring up second down and 6. A lot of time for Bartkowski, and he can throw this ball much better than that. Trying to get it to Willie Kern. He had the time, and Kern had made the move in front of Gary Green, and that ball should have been there.
Well, Don, are they picking on Gary Green because he's over there on single coverage? He's an all-pro cornerback.
I think they're sitting a little bit on the left hash mark, trying to work the wide side of the field. If anything, Kern came out of that break a little bit slow. The pass was maybe off a little bit anyway, but he didn't come out of that break very quickly.
So it wasn't a good pass, and he came out of the break slow.
Well, it was not as bad a pass as y'all were talking about.
So it was a horrible play.
Oh, okay.
Third down and 6. Bartkowski on the night, 12 of 19, 92 yards. Markowski, incomplete, trying to get it to Stacey Bailey.
Cromwell thought he was going to intercept that one.
He really had that one zeroed in, didn't he?
Looked like it went right through his arms, too.
So now you're down 21-3, 6:48 remaining in the third quarter. You got a 4th down and 6. You got a bunch of angry fans in the stands. So you send out Mick Luckhurst. Of course, that is the wise choice, but frustration here in Atlanta this year. Openly, they were criticized by owner Rankin Smith, and those are the reports that we have read in the paper and heard around town. And even William Andrews, who was out for the season, who, there's no question, he always gave 100%. There was some question as to whether or not, or at least they were questioning whether all of these players were really putting out. And that, of course, I think was reflected by the disgruntled fans tonight. Luckhurst, 49-yard attempt. And he misses from 49 yards out. So the Rams will get it back, and they'll get it back at their own 32-yard line. We'll be back in a very happy Atlanta in a moment. 65 degrees, and the temperature's soaring here in Atlanta, for the fans at least. Rams have the football back. They have the ball at the 32-yard line. Dickerson on the night, 138 yards rushing. Atlanta has rushed for 66. They passed for 92. That's a total of 158 yards. So Dickerson has just about equaled their entire output. Out in the flat, Buddy Curry. And not bad by Buddy Curry. Open field against Dickerson. And again, tempers flaring.
Yeah, Buddy.
Remember, he came up in 1980 along with Al Richardson. They were co-rookies of the year, I believe. He plays a very physical game. He was in a 3-4 defense at the time, the one you prefer, O.J. Dan Henning brought the 4-3 to Atlanta midway through last season. Buddy Curry operates now from that middle linebacking position.
They do a pretty good job with the 4-3. They got a young defensive line. All the guys have been in the league about 3 years or less. So I guess he wants them to mature together.
And he might have also brought it from Joe Gibbs in Washington. 2nd and 7. Kemp. Ron Brown, the Olympian. He's close to first down yardage in the arms of James Britt.
You know, I think I would throw a lot of those type passes to Ron Brown.
Yeah.
Make sure that, they know that he's over there. He's got the ball. And, he's got his speed, so that's what all the scouting reports are. Get that ball to him in front of that defensive
Scouting
back.
reports, he's got a gold medal around his neck.
See, that's a scouting report.
Yeah.
That's the best scouting report you can have. 4th place in the world in 100 meters.
They say, what kind of well, he's got.
And he was hurt.
He has good speed.
He ran a great pattern on that 4x100.
Fair hands.
Yeah, you saw he's 23 yards a catch.
Not a bad supporting cast that he had either. Actually, he ran the second
Leg on the
fastest
relay.
time of that relay. Carl Lewis a little better, but that's pretty good credentials.
First down.
They got him in an unusual way, and that is a first down for Ron Brown. Cleveland drafted him 83, and Ron Brown says no, he wanted to stay an amateur, compete in the Olympics. Then he didn't want to go to Cleveland, so the Rams traded a 2nd-round draft pick to get him. He is a little raw, granted. The cuts aren't always where they should be, but in a game like this, you ought to have Ron Brown in there working, because he could definitely become a great one.
He has great hands. He's made some spectacular catches this year.
6 receptions. That was his 7th as far this season, but he's averaging over 20 yards of reception. That time, Minnesota's Grant.
Well-timed little out pattern.
Bobby Butler up there defending for Atlanta.
I'll tell you something else about Ron Brown. He is a football player. He was a starting defensive back over at Arizona State. He had one game he intercepted 3 passes, and his senior year they made him a wide receiver, and he only caught about 17 passes, but I think he had 6 touchdowns and averaged over 20 yards of reception. So he is a football player, and he's made some real spectacular catches for this team this year.
He's built like a football player, not a track man. 5'11", 180-pounder. Grant got 4 out of that. 2nd down and 6. Dickerson moves left. He'll be short of the first down, getting just about to midfield.
I tell you, if the Rams ever ran a reverse pitching to Dickerson tonight, whoever he hands off to coming the other way would run unobstructed to the end zone, because they are pursuing so fast on him every time they pitch the ball to him. It's an ideal time to try to run a double reverse if they had it in the game plan.
How about the old Statue of Liberty? No, not quite as good. Get word
Third
to the
down
bench.
and a little more than 2 to go. David Hill and Mike Barber, the 2 tight ends, are in. Dickerson, the single setback. Jeff Kemp, beautiful shot into Otis Grant. He has first down yardage near the 43-yard line of Atlanta, right in front of Bobby Butler. And Jeff Kemp had some zip on that one.
With these defensive backs coming up so fast to support against the run, I'd throw it to the end zone, Dandy.
Get deep.
You know, it's going to be an interesting thing happen in L.A. when Vince Ferragamo is ready to come back, and he's almost ready to come back now. He still, of course, has recuperated from that broken hand, but that was some 5 weeks ago. And when he comes back, the Rams, who have been notorious for quarterback controversies all the way back to Waterfield and Van Brockton, well, they're going to have another one. Remember Pat Hayden and Ferragamo. And Johnny Robinson says, I can handle it. My decision will be made, and it'll be the right one as we watch Crutchfield banging over the right side for about 3 yards to bring up a second down and 7. Again, reminding you of CFA college football coming up this Saturday. Fighting Irish of Notre Dame facing the 6th-ranked LSU Tigers. And then a couple of Southwest Conference powers get together as number 2 ranked Texas hosts 16th ranked SMU. So check the listings for the game in your area of CFA college football Saturday. And you'll see it right here on ABC, and you'll see it live at 3:30 Eastern time. They mark it inside the 40, so let's call it second down and 7. Drew Hill splits out to the left. Otis Grant to the right. Inside 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Dickerson on the quick pitch. Ooh, and he ran right into Don Smith. And he's going to lose about a yard on that.
Don, I'm telling you, every time they could fake a pitch to Dickerson, and the safeties will be in the backfield. I'm telling you.
That Kemp keep it from running off back
Yeah,
here.
I tell you. The safeties, the minute Dickerson goes either side, if they fake a pitch to him, these safeties are running up so fast, they can throw a ball downfield, and I think I even can get open now.
Oh, come
Dickerson is about to win the war of offense here tonight against the entire Atlanta offense. He's drawing closer.
Well, they're doing a decent job against him in the second half. It's because they got everybody coming up to stop him.
Third down and 7.
Uh-oh.
And something was fouled up between Kemp and Ron Brown. Tom Pridemore comes down with it. And he's out of bounds.
4th down, that'll bring up.
And we will bring out the punter, John Misko. And Willie Curran will drop for Atlanta. Misko either is going to hang it up high, looking for the coverage. They do it both ways, or look for one of the corners. Atlanta defense has stiffened here in the third quarter. Score remains as it was as we went into the locker room at halftime, 21-3. And it takes a ram bounce into the end zone. So it'll be the touchback, and Atlanta will have the football back at their own 20-yard line. 41-yard punt, yet he only netted 21. We'll be back. Well, you can certainly tell who's the corporate type. Wearing his spanking new Olympic blazer. Proud of it.
And here we are in Atlanta. How you like it so far, Juice?
I like it. It's warm anyway.
Yeah.
Beautiful night here in Atlanta for a football game. 50% chance for showers as predicted. However, that has not come about. Atlanta trying to get back into this game, in a game that they really feel they have to get. They have a second down and 8 as we begin the fourth quarter. The ball at their own 45-yard line. Bartkowski, again, the dump off to Riggs. He trips up there on the chalk mark, and down he goes. Andrews there to make sure, but there'll be a loss back to the 40-yard line. And they keep hurting themselves, do these Falcons, and the crowd is, hey, they're a little angry.
I would be angry, too, if I was looking at this offense. I mean, they're not throwing the ball downfield at all. Maybe the Rams are responsible for that.
That's for certain. A Georgia peach.
Franco, Jay, and Don.
All right.
Third down and 11. The loss was at the 42-yard line. Bartkowski throws underneath. Gets it out to Riggs once again. Good defensive effort. Jim Collins, and what a year he is having, Collins.
A fortuitous bounce for Mr. Riggs there.
Yeah, but tell me, Don, why even on 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 12, they're not throwing the ball 12 yards downfield.
I would honestly think that something that, had to do with they've got good defensive backs. As we mentioned earlier, Johnson is back in there.
You don't go a whole game on 3rd and 10 throwing the ball underneath the yardage.
Or they'll wind up with 3 points. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Henry Ellard getting a bit of a breather. I assume we have had no injury report, but Johnny Johnson is back now for the Rams. He's done this duty in his time. Of course, Giacomo hangs one up there that Johnny Johnson calls for a fair catch at the 14-yard line. So the Rams will get it back at their 14-yard line. 41-yard punt by Giacomo. We're in the 4th quarter. Time running out, perhaps on the season, maybe for Atlanta. Well, that's Freddie Falcon. Freddie Falcon just does not quite understand all the little short passes.
It's the same thing that O.J.'s been at. Why don't they throw deep, he says.
At least throw 10 yards. That's a deep pattern tonight for the Falcons.
I think that Bartkowski may be hurt. That's what my answer is going to be. I don't think he's feeling 100%.
Right. We mentioned the back spasms last night. Again, concern this morning. First down, 10, the Rams at their own 14-yard line. Dwayne Crutchfield.
Hey.
Crutchfield just carries Falcons out close to the 23-yard line. Yard short of the first down, a pickup of 9. I want to remind you, coming up later tonight on Nightline with Ted Koppel, a new look at the attack on the U.S. Marines in Beirut 1 year ago tomorrow, including a talk with Meir Kahane, the most controversial member of Israel's parliament. That's tonight on Nightline, following your late local news on most of these ABC stations. And most of you on the West Coast will, of course, be watching Call to Glory. Crutchfield got 9 yards out of it, so it's 2nd down and 1. The Rams out at their own 23-yard line. Dickerson and Crutchfield in there together. Crutchfield, good blocker. Dickerson, he'll get the first down.
They're zeroing in on him, though, aren't they?
Oh, they're doing that. Reminds me of last night a little bit. People are leaving.
And there are the numbers at halftime that we showed you earlier, and we'll show you what transpired here in the 3rd quarter. With a quick switch. There you are. Rams really isn't all that dominant in terms of statistics, but it really has been dominant on the scoreboard. The Rams 21 and the Falcons 3. Los Angeles, of course, back of their heads, they must be thinking we're meeting the 49ers at home next week. And of course, they have the 49ers twice. We'll be covering the final game of the season for both the 49ers and the Rams. This is Dickerson on first down.
That's the play.
Down goes Dickerson.
That's the play they broke earlier, O.J., for about 34 yards. You remember that little flip back and a lead block by Guman?
Well, you know, Atlanta's defense is they played some excellent football tonight. You take away that 1 punt return, they've only given up 14 points. I'm a little surprised that Atlanta's offense has not been able to do more.
We had a quick look at Fulton Kuykendall. Been a long-time veteran linebacker here at Atlanta. 10 years out of UCLA. Still one of the hard hitters around. He put the stop to Dickerson on that play. Dickerson picking up 1. It'll be 2nd down and 9. Jeff Kent doing just exactly what John Robinson wants him to do. Conservative offense for the quarterback as we watch Barry Redden stacked up. He'll only get a yard out of it, so it's going to be 3rd down and 8.
Well, where the Rams defensive line may be glad that they got a 18-point lead and they're forcing the Falcons to throw. I'm sure the running backs for the Rams are saying, hey, to get the lead, please throw the football.
Well, I brought it up a moment ago. We inquired about the health of Henry Ellard. He has a bruised calf, and we were told he might not be back. If you were with us earlier, you watched him go 69 yards on a punt for a touchdown. The 2nd time he's taken one back this year, and of course I'm sure he'll hold on to his NFL lead in punt returns. Henry Ellard of the Rams. 3rd down and 7.
You said they're daring them to throw? Daring them to run anyway.
Jeff Kent calls timeout. Rams now down to 1, and he'll slide over and have a word with John Robinson. Or at least he'll slide over and have a good listen. We'll be back in a moment. Dickerson has, over the night, good numbers. He had 112 through the first half. He is now up to 142. 3rd down and 7. Blitz is on. Kemp's in a lot of trouble, but he fires one out of a crowd of Falcons. Ron Brown comes down with it, and Kemp is buried under 3 or 4 Falcons.
That was really a good
Be a
pass.
tough kid.
That was a good pass.
Yeah, take your helmet off. A little blood. Show the audience a little blood.
Oh,
Hey,
Mother
I did it.
Joanne, I know, is
I'm
watching. He's all right.
It'll make it's a character builder. And look at this. He's got good character.
Yeah, he's got
Step
guts
up,
too.
hanging right in there.
What did Johnny Robinson say about the players he liked? We talked to him earlier.
Boy, they caught him right in the face too, didn't they?
Said, show me a tough one with courage.
That was Rick Bryant. Bryant that came in there, I think, and pasted him right on the chin.
You know, Frank, I played with his father also, and he reminds you a lot of his father. He kind of bounced around there for a while. He hung in there and became a very, very decent quarterback. The MVP of the old AFL one year.
Oh, he had an arm, didn't he? On 1st and 10. Crutchfield turns back in, and this Atlanta Falcon defense is getting physical.
Let's get physical. Let's get physical. Uh-oh.
No.
He was in Dallas last night, wasn't he?
Yeah, for 3.5 quarters anyway.
Crutchfield got 1 out of it. It'll be 2nd down and 9.
I think he's going to be here for 4 quarters tonight.
Atlanta. Of course, again, the season would not be over, but they would be in deep trouble with the loss tonight, and it looks rather imminent. Jeff Kemp will do that now and then. Ron Brown.
I tell you,
wow, he made a sensational over-the-shoulder catch.
All right, Ron
That's the
Brown.
Olympian. We talked about him all evening with that great speed. He was 4 or 5 yards behind the defender, James Britt. And had Kemp put that into the inside, it would have been no contest, but he made a tremendous catch. And that's a tough catch to make.
I tell you, he's more than a track man. He's a football player. Earlier in the year, he did like a 360 and made a touchdown catch.
Look at
in
him
one of the
wide
first
the
games.
distance
Look at
there
him.
with that speed.
That's James Britt covering him, and James Britt, as they say, is not slow.
Oh, that's concentration on the
catch.
ball.
What a catch.
Boy, down the line, if all things go as they should, you're going to hear a lot from this young man. He's, again, a little rough on the passing routes, recognizing defenses, but that's understandable. As O.J. mentioned, he spent most of his time as a defensive back at Arizona State before turning into a wide receiver. And you have that kind of speed, you don't always have to use it, but the defender always knows you have it. You're going to get a lot of area in which to operate. 1st down, goal to go. Dickerson over the top.
There's
Somehow he gets more than it looks each time he carries it.
There you go.
They're on their way home. You people should go home and rest.
Looks like some kind of group. And now we have a Ram down. Been a very physical game as we look at Doug Smith. He is the fine center for the Los Angeles Rams. And they are now looking at Doug Smith. This Ram line has already been made over with the loss of Jackie Slater. We'll be back. He's coming out, appears to be all right. I think he just had the wind knocked out of him. And we are sorry about the wind, but happy to see that it has nothing to do with any kind of injury to the legs. Joe Sheeran comes in, the second-year man out of Texas and a 7th-round draft pick back in 1982 to replace Doug Smith, who has really, Doug Smith has been a fine center. He served a kind of an apprenticeship along that line, playing guard and tackle before taking over from Rich Saul back in 1982. 2nd down, goal to go. The ball at the 3-yard line. Rams threatening to put this one out of reach.
Whoa.
Ooh, and all over Dickerson. Gary Burley, who is back in the lineup. Remember him with the Cincinnati Bengals. He's been out with an Achilles problem for several weeks.
He brought Joe Sheeran back there with him, too, didn't he?
I tell you.
Yeah,
It's just about that time, folks, I promise.
He could really help this Atlanta team. He had some good years with the Bengals, good pass rusher. In the first 3 games of this year, Gary Burley had 3 sacks, and then he got that Achilles problem. He puts the Rams in a 3rd down and goal situation. The ball at the 7-yard line.
Look out.
Jeff Kemp. And a good catch by Gooman, and Gooman will be down close to the 1-yard line, but it will be 4th down, and Let's see what John Robinson does, and he does what would be proper, and he wants 3 more points up on the scoreboard. That means, should Mike Lansford get it through the uprights, the Falcons would have to score 3 touchdowns to bring this game to a tie, and they've been unable to score a single touchdown thus far through 3.5 quarters.
You know, in the first game they played, they went down to the 1-yard line on the first drive. They had a chance to kick a field goal. They didn't. And the Falcons held them, and they lost the game by 2 points in the end.
Mike Lansford. Cromwell gets it down. Lansford gets it through the uprights. And it will be 24-3. And there's a fight breaking out on the field, and somebody took a shot. That's Buddy Curry. He got into it earlier, as you might recall, on a tackle with Dickerson. Dickerson and Buddy Curry squaring off a little bit. Now the bigger boys are into it.
Well, there was a lot of talk about the Rams not being happy with the way these guys took advantage of Eric Dickerson in the first game. So I guess temper's a little short tonight.
It's been a bit of rivalry over the years. This is not unusual. We'll be back. The Rams on top, 24-3, 7:27 remaining in the game. Lansford kicks away, and Rodney Tate is deep. He will not handle, however.
No, he will not.
Stamps who bobbles it. Better covered, baby. That thing is free back there. The rookie from Jackson State mishandles.
When it goes wrong, doesn't it?
Well, it can go pretty bad. Stamps coming back from a hamstring injury. You don't want to be too casual. That happened earlier this season already. You leave that ball in the end zone, it is free as a bird.
Sylvester just took his eyes off of it, didn't he? You saw him looking upfield.
Well, he learned a lesson here. The next time, if this ever happens to him, he better get back there in a hurry.
That was Vince Newsom that straightened up Sylvester Stamps in the end zone. All right, Atlanta. Let's see if they can get something happening. The ball at the 20-yard line. First down and 10. Bartkowski staying on. We've been told again from the sidelines nothing wrong with his back. That is just apparently the offensive game plan. There's movement this time on the part of the Falcons, I'm sure. The flags go down. The offensive line straightening up before the snap.
Well, this is not good. This is horrible. It's deplorable, and I'm calling Pete Rozelle.
Ball start.
This is horrible.
Offense. Many players.
I never heard that call. By many players. How about OAJ?
Hey, he is.
Andy Armitani.
Andy Joe.
All these guys were in Dallas. We complained. Well, we haven't really, but it was a long night. Overtime. Late start because of the debate. We arrived in Atlanta about 5 o'clock. Our crew had to break down over there. So many of these guys, they've got Emmys all along their walls. They have covered everything from Olympics going back all the way to 1968.
I think it's time. What do you think, guys?
Yeah. You got my second.
Well, let's see. We're going to have another message from the...
Get Jerry to sing along.
Clock correction.
Oh, good. Run it
7
down.
seconds.
Run it down. Come on, Jerry. Run it down. We'll vote for it.
7 seconds which way?
Well, I know which way I hope. Oh, man. Come on, Jerry.
Mark Bright. He's been busy tonight. These two teams have been very physical.
So
several
long.
Brief scuffles that have broken out.
Yeah.
Well, they're looking awfully good.
Yeah.
Straighten that out.
Thanks for waiting till Monday night to do it.
Yeah. I guess those body shots didn't hurt early in the game.
First down 15, Atlanta. It was Hodge in motion.
A good thought.
Well, another 5-yard penalty.
It's to Hodge underneath. He does not get back to the original line of scrimmage as Jim Collins is adding to his already Ram leading accumulation of tackles. He's been a little bit of everywhere tonight.
Yeah. You can see she loves those short passes.
Oh, my.
At the 20-yard line, second down and 10. Hodge again in motion. Ram showing blitz. Eckern jumps out of it.
Oh, another short pass.
And trying to get it again underneath.
He's working on his...
Trying to get it once again, this time to Bailey.
They're going to do it until they get it right.
Now his percentage of completion, he's getting that up.
That'll bring up third down.
Yeah, well, I got to believe something is wrong with Bartkowski.
We've checked twice, and we have been informed that nothing is wrong with him. 6:13 remaining. Falcons 0 for 3 on 3rd and 10. And they're looking at another one.
All right.
Bartkowski tries to get it upfield. Tries to get it into the wide receiver.
Well, I'll tell you, his last two relatively medium distant passes both fell short. So I think we can...
Yeah, Mel Owens almost got a hand on that one.
Yeah.
He's taking a good drop.
I think something's wrong with Bartkowski.
Giacomoro comes in to punt. He's been busy tonight. Leroy Irvin comes in. He's the one I told you about earlier. Those 4 touchdowns. He had 3 of them in one year. Eller, Johnson, Irving. Good punt returners for this Ram team. He'll have a lot of time to look this one over. That was a beautiful punt by Giacomoro.
There you go, Leroy.
Leroy Irvin out to the 40-yard line. There's a 54-yard punt by Giacomoro that had hung up there for a long time also. Jeff Jackson defensively there. We'll be back. Blocked an Atlanta Falcon out of bounds, and the Rams were penalized back to their 15-yard line. So it'll be 1st down and 10 for the Rams. Actually, they mark it at the 14-yard line. Dickerson thus far 142 yards. We're keeping track of that. He has drawn close to Walter Payton, and depending upon how the Rams want to use their offense in the remaining almost 6 minutes will determine whether or not Dickerson will take over the rushing lead in the NFL. Walter Payton, of course, having that great year.
Well, I would be surprised if we see Dickerson any more this game. He's the heart and soul of this team. And this game is well in hand.
The 49ers are coming up in 6 days.
Rest those legs.
Gary Redden is in now for Eric Dickerson. You don't lose much with Redden this time, however, a swarming Atlanta defense. They've got everyone up there anticipating that the kind of limited offense on the part of John Robinson, head coach of the Rams, or Jeff Kemp, is going to kind of dictate the ground game. And they're all up there. There's Eric. Had a great night. He had 112 yards in the first half and had a couple of big ones called back. That coming off a great effort a week ago against the New Orleans Saints, and he had 164 yards.
Well, he had a great game tonight, and his offensive line did a great job.
300 yards plus in
That's
2 weeks.
about it.
Terry Redden hurdled out to about the 19-yard line. Give him 5 on that. It'll be 3rd down and 5. And there's William Andrews and Gerald Riggs.
They can't be too pleased, can they? Because their offense never did really get going tonight.
Well, their offense is not going to get going until they start doing a little better job of throwing the football.
Hey, by the way, I wonder if something's wrong with Bartkowski. Big times, if you ask, I told you I don't know. I don't know.
They're down in 5. And the Rams do keep it on the ground. Working on the clock. They're inside 5 minutes. They get out to the 23-yard line. That'll be 4th down, and we'll see the punting unit in all probability for the Los Angeles Rams. There was a moment of hesitancy on the sidelines, is why I said probability. And now they come out.
Yeah.
As we're just about here alone in Fulton County Stadium.
Well, the traffic won't be so bad. Most of them left in the 3rd quarter.
Sure changes the acoustics. Willie Curran drops, and Misko is on for the Rams.
Well, they could miss one of the all-time comebacks in the NFL.
No, they couldn't.
Long count. Of course, an offside penalty by Atlanta, who obviously going to try to block this.
And what difference is 5 more yards
than a
make?
1st down.
They got plenty of time. They're working that 30-second clock.
Atlanta, they know exactly what they're doing.
Oh, that was
Gets one off the side of his foot. He just had to wait a little too long, I think. And Atlanta will have good field position. They'll be in Ram territory near the 40-yard line.
Go ahead, Bob Uecker. They're all there.
Yeah. Those fans really love you, don't they?
Keep in mind, a graphic we showed you a while ago, the Rams have not held opponent without a touchdown since 1979. They've got something to work for.
Yeah, they get the gold star tonight.
Checking around here, looking through all my notes, my papers.
See Carl Erkin, he calls the defensive plays. He's psyching the guys up. Let's keep them out of the end zone.
Akron is a heck of a tennis player, by the way.
So am I.
Well, you don't play middle linebacker, though.
Nope.
First and 10. Bartkowski. Screen.
Short pass.
Riggs. Oh, what a noise this is going to make. Ooh. Mel Owens and Eckert over there defensively as Riggs will get an Atlanta first down.
He got
Jeff Kemp. He set all kinds of records up there at Dartmouth. 5 school records, attempts, completions. He got bopped a little earlier and came up as a free agent. No one thought much about it. Had a fine academic career, degree in economics. Probably coming, of course, from his father, Congressman Kemp's interest in economics. He has turned into a good quarterback. Riggs, right side.
He really has. You know, he's not thrown enough passes to be. They ran that ball. No wonder they're booing. Jeff Kemp had not thrown enough passes to qualify for the quarterback ranking. But the note I have is if he threw at least 17 tonight, he would, and he would be ranked about 3rd behind Joe Montana and Neil Lomax. So that's not a bad company to be keeping there.
He did need 17 more attempts to qualify for the passing records that are kept by the NFL. And you're right, he would have been 3rd. Bartkowski gets one out in the flat to Wayne Curran. And Wayne Curran taken out of bounds, stopping the clock at 2:18 near the 20-yard line.
That's why they're working on the clock, O.J. They're throwing those short passes to work on the clock.
That was 6 yards. They beat the 5-yarders.
Well, the boy ran a bad route.
And we've just been told that the stats that will come out tomorrow that Jeff Kemp will be the 5th-rated passer in the NFL.
That's got to be Steve Hurt fooling around down there again, right?
Oh, Mr. Univac is something, isn't he?
Sometimes I think he makes those numbers up.
No, I've questioned it on occasion, and he just pulls out reams of tape.
I don't know how to question him, though. I can't call him on any other.
3rd down 2 for Bartkowski. And underneath once again. Floyd Hodge incomplete. It'll be 4th down.
Youngblood still going strong here in the 4th quarter, which is really a credit to the guy.
Especially when it started off for him.
Yeah, I know. And again, we've talked about how, this is a consecutive game streak, but he laid a pretty good shot on Mr. Bartkowski that time.
No, we were talking about the Rams having a quarterback controversy. I don't think so. I think as long as they're winning, ever since Kemp's been there, they've been averaging near 28 points a game. As long as they continue to do that and the defense plays the way they played tonight, hey, it's his job.
That's right.
You have to stay there.
Controversies occur when you're losing.
4th down and 2. Darrell Riggs. Riggs will get the first down near the 17-yard line. And we will get the 2-minute warning before we get another play off. Atlanta, for what it's worth, has 3 timeouts. We'll be back. Back in Atlanta. Final 2 minutes of play. 1st down and 10. The Atlanta Falcons with the football. Atlanta Falcons are going to drop to 3-5. They're going to join New Orleans at the bottom of the pile in the NFC West. Los Angeles is going to be 5-3. They're going to be 2 games behind San Francisco. They play the 49ers twice this season coming up. They'll have a game this Sunday, and then they will play them on a Friday night. In their final game of the season, we'll be bringing you that coverage. Bartkowski on 1st down.
All right.
And he gets it into Floyd Hodge.
Flag is down.
Flag is down.
I think it's going to be defense, though.
Let's hope so.
Fans have gone wild.
Oh, no.
Against Atlanta.
It was against Atlanta.
So one shining moment fades into one dim moment.
The lights are out. We cannot help it. We wish that it were not that way. The lights are out. We cannot help it.
Offense. First down.
And let's hope tomorrow starts a brand new day. Sorry.
Paraphrase, huh?
The turnout the lights was redundant.
And Henning really exercised over that one. Bartkowski on the night of his 18 completions, 12 have been under 10 yards. And I don't care how you cut it, that's highly unusual. Bartkowski is a man that likes to go up on top. And it's as though it's been designed tonight. He's thrown many times to Riggs in the flat, many times to Riggs underneath, and most of his attempts to the wide receivers have been underneath. First down and 20. Screen, Landrum, the rookie from Southern Mississippi, and Landrum getting back almost to the original line of scrimmage. It'll be second down and 11. He's hit there by Reggie Doss. There must be something happening after this game that we don't know about. Everyone's so dolled up. Fans are still in it, however.
What, you mean in traffic?
18-yard line. Second down and 11.
Well, let's see. I'll throw over here.
Bartkowski wide open.
Yeah.
There it is, Stacey Bailey. Stacey Bailey, his 29th reception, his 4th touchdown. And for Stacey Bailey, not the kind of night that he would have liked. They have not gone to him that often. That's his 1 reception on the night. Yeah, there's a guy with incredible numbers. He can get deep, great speed. It's the first time they've gone to him.
There was nobody around the Bartkowski that time. They were just trying to cover him and contain him. You can't do that.
Rams were in the locker room packing.
That could be right.
Steve did a good job of pumping to his right and going back to his left. Guess what? 2 more onside kicks, 2 more touchdowns. It could be one of the great finishes of all time.
I think you're right, O.J. I think we have ourselves a football game here.
Mick Luckers splits the uprights.
And don't remember, it's not over
Until it's over.
That's
Until
a
the fat lady sings.
All right.
Someone said that. A cliche.
Well, down in front of the Atlanta bench, there we are. You can see they're talking onside kick. They better not kick it to Gooman or he'll run it back for a touchdown. He did against Cincinnati. He's got an interesting stat. He plays up off the line. Cincinnati tried an onside kick and they kicked it right to him and he took it all the way back for a touchdown. He's their specialist in that area. Over 18,000 runners are going to compete in this largest marathon field. Largest one in this country, certainly. Perhaps the world, I don't know. But it really is something. I've watched it over the years grow and grow and become so popular. Rod Dixon, the defending champion, will be there along with the other defending champion, Greta Weitz. We'll take a look at it on ABC, October the 28th, beginning at 10:30 a.m., 9:30 Central Time. That is really a sight to behold as all of those runners line up at the Verrazano Bridge. Go trotting through the different boroughs. Well, all the folks are up there for the Rams, all the sure-handed types. Mick Luckhurst will put it in play. One would assume it would be the onside kick. He kicked it to Gooman, and it almost wiped Gooman out. And coming up with it for the Rams, Ivory Sully, I believe it was.
Man, got him a hit there.
I'll tell you, there was some violent collisions. Actually, that's Rodney Tate there. Let's take a look at it again. Gooman was right there, and I'll tell you, he really gets wiped out. He goes for the football, and they get him about right through his legs. Now look at that shot that he takes. And then Ivory Sully, who is, I said earlier, in on so many big plays on the special teams. He really gets hammered by Rodney Tate, and Rodney Tate came out of that holding his shoulder.
There's his head.
1:04 remaining in the game. The special teams on the Rams, they're good. They really are. They provide good coverage. They are good at running back, kickoffs, punt returns. They ran one back tonight. Henry Eller did for 69 yards. A few weeks ago against the Rams, Eller went 83 yards. That was Dwayne Crutchfield. There's John Robinson to make it quick trip home and get right to the films of the 49ers. That's coming up for him on Sunday. Atlanta now with 2 timeouts. And that time remains. Our executive producer, of course, of ABC Sports is Boone Arledge. ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, produced by Bob Gridrich, directed by Chet Forty. Technical director, Joe Chavo. Halftime producer, Peter Lasser. Associate director, Kim Belton. Technical manager, Bill Freeberger. Our unit manager, we always like to be with Irma Norris. Telecommunications manager, Margaret Beauvais. Assistants to the producer, Tony Tortorisi and Charlie Wiseman. Helping out here in the booth is Annette Hawkins. And once again, so many of our guys have traveled all night after breaking down in Dallas and put in another long night tonight. And they have done, again, their superb job, as they always do. That was Crutchfield once again. And Atlanta, apparently aware that points count in tiebreakers, uses another timeout. And they have 1 remaining. Eric Dickerson, another big night. 36 yards short of Peyton, and they decided they're going to give him a breather. 49ers, you'll see a lot of them. You can bet on that. He finishes the night, 25 attempts, 142 yards. It's going to be fun over the years to watch young Eric Dickerson. Marvelous athlete, great talent. And for Dan Henning, he's going to find out what it's like in this the second year with the head coach of a football team. He's trained with some of the finest. With Joe Gibbs at Washington, played his college ball at William Mary. Had a year with the San Diego Chargers. Loves his game. He went into the Continental League as a quarterback. Played for Norfolk. 41 seconds remaining. Jeff Kemp will get his 4th win in 5 starts in relief of Vince Ferragamo. Barry Redden. And down goes Redden.
First down.
He'll have a first down, and I do not think we'll see the clock stopped by Atlanta again. As I said, Atlanta calls timeout.
you meant again after this one. This is the last time they're going to do that. Silly.
Barry Redden.
Well, let's go to...
O.J. mentioned it earlier, and Don just like to touch on it again. He would start on so many ball clubs in this league. He has a great attitude about it, too.
You got a guy.
Part of that attitude is watching Eric Dickerson run, I think.
It's true. I was thinking about when he was bringing back kickoffs earlier. You know, how many times do you get that guy? Number 1 draft choice with his kind of talent, and he brings the kickoffs back. You see Jack Youngblood's a little bit happier than he was earlier in the night.
Yeah, he's been in some tough ones, and he's always been standing at the end.
Went down last week and gave everyone a fright, jammed his neck, and even John Robinson was stunned. It's an interesting formation. If we could look back a little deeper, pull wide, you can make sure the refs are not going to give one up. Jeff Kemp just drops on it, and Otis Grant was 15 yards behind Kemp. So that'll be the end of it. Atlanta will drop to 3-5. Los Angeles will go to 5-3, 2 games behind the 49ers, and what remains of this crowd of well over 50,000 is not at all happy with what happened. So the Rams now can look forward to Sunday and a meeting for the first time with the 49ers. Final word in just a moment.